From Hollywood, it's time now for...
Johnny Dollar.
Here's your number in Kingman, Mr. Dollar.
Oh, thank you, operator.
One moment.
Jake Kessler.
Johnny Dollar, Jake.
So you found out I was right. You've left our fair state of Arizona and gone back to Hartford.
Wrong.
Huh? You mean you're still at Lake Mojave Resort?
I sure am.
Then I'm still betting that you haven't found anything to indicate Elmer Hobbs' death wasn't accidental drowning.
Jake.
So your expenses will have to come right out of your own pocket instead of the company.
Listen.
As for that crow you talked about eating, how do you want it cooked?
Listen, will you?
What?
Have you mailed in the insurance claim yet?
Well, I was just about to run it over to the post office when your call came in.
Tear it up.
What?
Because, Jake, Elmer Hobbs was murdered.
Bob Bailey in the exciting adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to the Greater Southwest Insurance and Liability Company, Kingman, Arizona office. Following is an account of expenses incurred during my further investigation of the Mojave Red matter. Expense account item 1, 20 cents for the phone call to Jake Kessler in Kingman. I made that call in the office there at Lake Mojave Resort. And needless to say, Jake didn't quite believe me at first.
Murdered? Elmer Hobbs was murdered?
Jake, I'd bet my last buck on it.
Yeah, but Johnny, the police spent 2 or 3 days over there investigating. The coroner, too, and they all reported no evidence of foul play.
That's simply because they didn't know where to look.
What do you mean?
You know Red Barrett, the old fishing guide over here?
Well, I've heard of him.
Well, Red found the boat that Hobbs used that day. It was lying on the bottom of one of the coves up in the big basin.
Sure, because of the storm that drowned Elmer Hobbs.
Because somebody sank it. That boat had a couple of air tanks on it that would keep it afloat even if it was swamped.
Oh?
But, Jake, those tanks were cut open by whoever killed Hobbs.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
But who did it, Johnny?
That's what I'm going to find out. I'll call you later. I hung up on Jake Kessler, then walked on back to the dock where I found Red Barrett and Buster Favor waiting for me.
Did you get your call to Kingman through all right, Johnny?
Yeah, Red. Jake Kessler's holding up the claim on Elmer Hobbs' insurance.
Good. That's good.
Did you, tell Buster what we found up the lake?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Johnny, he did. It's like I said in the beginning, I just didn't see how a man like Mr. Hobbs could ever get himself capsized up in the big basin, no matter how bad a wind came up.
Buster was the only one that agreed with me, Johnny.
Well, quite frankly, I don't see why everybody wasn't suspicious when Hobbs' boat wasn't found after the storm.
Right, Johnny. But now that you and Red found it, sunk in the bottom of that cove and with the flotation tanks cut open, yeah, it sure looks like murder.
Oh, that's what I thought from the first, Buster. That's why I telephoned all the way to Hartford to get Johnny out here.
But who could have wanted to kill him? Any ideas, Buster?
No, sir, Johnny, I certainly haven't.
You sure there was nobody here at the resort who might have wanted him out of the way?
Johnny, the other folks who were here at the time it happened, why, they didn't even know Mr. Hobbs.
You're sure of that?
Absolutely. See, he wasn't much of a mixer. He stayed by himself all the time.
That's right, Johnny. Elmer used to go out fishing first thing in the morning, and he'd be the last to come in at night. He'd go to his room, cook his supper, and then go to bed.
All right, listen. He was killed just before or during the big storm you had.
That's right.
Who else was out on the lake at that time?
Nobody. Nobody from here, that is. All our people, all our boats were back here at the landing. They'd got the storm warning.
So don't you see, Johnny, it must have been somebody from up the lake.
What do you mean?
From one of the other landings.
What other landings?
Cottonwood, Emery's, any one of them. Yes, sir. Somebody sank his boat and tried to sink his body with it.
But we found his body washed up on the Nevada shore. You found it, Red.
Yes, I did. My best friend.
I dove down to that boat, Buster, and I found not only the bashed-in flotation tanks, but where the anchor line had apparently been lashed around the body to hold it there.
And you remember, Buster, the rope marks we found on Elmer's body?
Yeah, but the police, sheriff, and coroner, and the rest...
What did they say?
He probably just got tangled up in that rope when he was fighting the storm. But they were wrong.
Yeah, apparently.
Well, why do you say that, Johnny?
Well, because so far this evidence of murder is, well, it's all circumstantial. As for motive,
Motive? Well, I hadn't thought of that.
Red,
Well, the main thing is that cutting open the flotation tanks was done with some kind of an axe.
I was asking about motive.
And I know that Elmer didn't have any axe on that boat.
Do you find the axe, Johnny?
No. Now, Red.
I'll tell you what he had in his boat, beside his clothes, I mean.
Well, let's cover this motive thing.
He had the anchor, of course. That went with the boat.
Red.
He had a nice new Silaflex rod with a Mitchell 300 on it.
Yeah, but now look.
He had a long-handled net that he'd picked up somewhere in L.A., and an old beat-up McKinney tackle box full of plugs and spoons and a fish stringer. And that was all, Johnny. No axe. That was all he had.
Red, that bush you're beating around is getting pretty big.
Well, Johnny, I don't know what you mean.
Well, I asked you about possible motive, and so far all you've done is evade the question.
Now, why should I do that?
Well, that's what I want to find out.
Well, now, Johnny...
Do you know of anyone who might have wanted Mr. Hobbs dead? You say you knew him pretty well.
And I did, yes, sir.
Well?
No, sir. No, sir, I certainly don't.
You're sure?
Why, Elmer... Well, nobody could want to kill a fine man like him, Johnny. He was one of my best friends.
Yeah.
At least while ever he was here, I mean. I never knew anything about him in L.A., I mean.
He was in business back there, I understand.
That's right, with a man he called Stu Manley.
Wait a minute.
What is it, Johnny?
I'm going back to the office and call Jake Kessler again.
Yes, sir. Elmer was my best friend.
Come on. Come on up to the office with me, Buster.
Well, you can use the phone here on the dock, Johnny.
No. Come on. Red, we'll see you later.
I'll be here, sir.
You look like you just got hit with an idea, Johnny.
Yeah, and I'm afraid it isn't a very pretty one.
Oh?
Morning,
What is
Buster.
it, Johnny?
Any of the early fishermen come in yet?
Oh, yes, sir, Mr. Carson, and they picked up some nice bass up above the power line crossing.
Good. I was thinking of going up that way myself.
Yeah, well, good luck. Now, what were you going to say, Johnny?
Were Red and Mr. Hobbs such really good friends?
Well, they were always together when he came here. Of course, they were always fighting like cats and dogs over some silly thing or other, but didn't mean it. Oh, now, wait a minute, Johnny.
Was Red alone when he found Hobbs' body?
Yeah, he was, and he brought it back here. But now, look.
There weren't any other boats up the lake?
Yeah, there were, but Red was searching that particular part of the shore alone. But surely you don't
Jake
think...
Kessler told me something about Hobbs' insurance policy, but not quite enough.
Johnny, listen.
Come on, let's get to that phone.
Well, then, Johnny, don't you think you ought to call in the police?
No.
If you're right, that is.
No, let me handle this alone for the moment. Now listen, Jake.
Yeah?
Didn't you tell me that the insurance claim was filed by one of Hobbs' beneficiaries, plural?
That's right, by his business partner in L.A.
Who were the others?
Just one other. If you'd taken time to listen to
Who
me.
is it?
You were so all fired up when I drove you down
Who
there.
is this other beneficiary, Jake?
You're still sure Hobbs was murdered, huh?
I'll bet on it.
So now you're looking for somebody with a motive, huh?
The beneficiary, Jake.
Like I told you. One of them was his business partner, J. Stuart Manley.
And the other?
Red.
Red.
Yeah, Red Barrett.
Act 2 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in a moment.
Our flag now numbers 50 stars, and behind each star there stands yet another flag representing one of the 50 states. Illinois' state flag uses many of the symbols of our nation's great seal. The eagle, the symbol of our national strength, rests on a shield representing the states, indicating that the states and the nation are bound together, for in unity there is strength. The arrows in the eagle's talon indicate military preparedness, and in his beak is a scroll which reads, State Sovereignty, National Union, a reminder of the greatness of the state of Illinois and its pride in being a member of the United States of America. Illinois' state flag, the flag of the 21st state to enter the Union, was adopted on July 6, 1915.
And now, Act 2 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and the Mojave Red sequel.
Two people who I knew stood to gain by the death of Elmer Hobbs. One, his business partner, J. Stuart Manley in Los Angeles. The other, Red Barrett, fishing guide at Lake Mojave Resort, who said he'd found his body, who professed to have been his best friend. I wondered, I said as much to Buster Favor as we sat there in the office of the resort.
Red do a thing like that, I won't believe it, Johnny.
But he's the one person who could have engineered the whole thing, Buster.
But why, then, would he lead us to the place where Mr. Hobbs' boat was sunk?
Well...
And point up the fact it was deliberately sunk, and an attempt made to sink Hobbs' body with it?
Oh, there's a cover-up? To make him look clean?
Oh, no, Johnny.
Well, the boat would have been found in that cove sooner or later anyway.
I tell you, you're wrong if you suspect Red. Look, if Hobbs' business partner is a beneficiary, too, why don't you look him up?
I fully intend to, unless Red did do it.
No.
And I can prove it.
No, Johnny.
Let's go back to the dock so I can talk to him again and see...
Buster, Oh, hello, Johnny.
I suppose you've heard, Ham?
Yes, Red told me. You're quite sure it was murder?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Listen, Buster.
Yeah.
Look, Ham, as manager of this resort, you know Red pretty well.
I sometimes wonder. That's what I came up here to ask you about, Buster.
Huh?
Did you send him skiting out of here?
What?
We just left him down at the dock.
You mean you didn't see him tearing out of here in the pickup truck a few minutes ago?
What?
Ham.
Red?
Where'd he go?
I don't know, but he certainly left in a hurry.
Johnny.
Yeah.
No, I still can't believe it.
What are you boys talking about?
Nothing. Ham, is there a car around here I can use?
Oh, sure. Take mine. There are the keys.
Thanks. Now, look.
Incidentally, Buster, I was poking around where Red kept his fishing tackle trying to find that rig he borrowed from me last week.
What did you find, Ham?
Well, I thought Buster might know where the old coot got hold of that new spinning outfit. Silaflex rod.
What?
Yeah, and a brand spanking new.
Mitchell Reel.
Oh, yes.
Oh, no.
All right, Ham, Buster, you just sit tight. If Red comes back here before I do...
Comes back?
Yeah, say nothing to him about what we've learned. Just keep him here and tell him I'll return to talk with him later. Nothing else.
But, Johnny...
No, do as I say.
Look, boys, what's going on
I'll
here?
see you later.
Well, now, Johnny...
Red was one of Elmer Hobbs' beneficiaries. He was the one who'd found the body. He had the fishing tackle that had belonged to Hobbs. And when it was discovered by Ham Pratt, he'd left in a hurry. All pretty incriminating. Which is not why I took off in Ham's car. West on 77, south on 95, and west again on 66. Item 4, a buck even for a sandwich and a Coke and Barstow. Item 5, $4.80 for a tank full of gas at the sign of the Flying Red Horse. Then westward again. And always with an eye out for Red and the old pickup truck. Finally, as the sun was disappearing over the edge of the Pacific, I pulled into Los Angeles. The real estate office of Manley and Hobbs was closed. A directory at the nearest phone booth gave me J. Stewart Manley's home address. 1308 Pandora Avenue in the residential section called Westwood. The neat white stucco house was dark, the garage empty. I let myself in through a back door by slipping the lock with the aid of one of my business cards. It was hard to see inside, but I didn't want to turn on any lights. And that was a mistake. Because as I quietly rounded a corner and started toward the den, I'd guessed wrong. Somebody was at home, was in that den behind the now closed door. And that somebody knew that I was in the house. Well, there's only one thing to do, try to bull my way through. Well, Mr. Manley, you're just... Oh, you killer! Wait a minute. Oh. Red.
Johnny Dollar. Well, it kind of looks like I made a mistake, doesn't it?
Yeah, Red. The biggest mistake of your life.
Act 3 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in a moment. A question that has been asked many times is, at what age does a boy become a man? It isn't when he reaches the age of 21, but when the qualities of grit and determination within him make him face up to the responsibilities of a job to be done, no matter what the difficulties. On May 21st, 1862, during the Civil War battle at Corinth, Mississippi, William H. Horsfall was serving as a drummer with Company G of the 1st Kentucky Infantry. During the furious and deadly engagement, he saw his captain fall wounded between the lines. Although, as a non-combatant, Horsfall was supposed to stay out of the range of fire, he rushed bravely forward at the risk of his own life to aid his wounded captain. Ignoring the fact that they were in the midst of a continuing and deadly hail of fire from both sides, the courageous drummer dragged the wounded officer to a place of safety thereby saving his life. Later on, Horsfall grabbed a gun and some ammunition and went into the fight. But his commanding officer finally sent him to the rear, recommended him for the Medal of Honor, and gave him a furlough. Gallant as the drummer's valorous actions were, the officer felt that 14-year-old William Horsfall was still too young for battle. But Horsfall's personal code had already proved him a man. And now, Act 3 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and the Mojave Red sequel.
You know what common sense tells me, Red?
What, Johnny?
That you and J. Stewart Manley were in cahoots in the murder of Elmer Hobbs.
Oh, no, sir, you can't believe that.
You told us that Hobbs had a Silaflex rod, a Mitchell reel in his boat.
Yes, sir, he did. Just like the
We
rig.
found him, Red, among your things back at the lake.
Oh, you found mine, Johnny, that Elmer gave me to match his. Look. Now, look what I found here in Manley's closet. This was Elmer's rod and reel, Johnny.
What?
All strung up with a wobble right spoon on it, just the way he fished with it. And he could cast so accurate.
You're sure this was his?
Well, here's his initials right on the butt, and scratched on the reel, too.
E.H.
Yes, if you'd have looked, you would have found my initials on the rod there at the lake. But look here. Look what I found in the corner of this closet, all wrapped up, like to hide it.
The axe.
And I'm no detective, Johnny, but just look at these marks, like it was used to hack at some kind of thin metal.
The flotation tanks on that boat. Maybe you are a detective, Red, and a good one. But why did you come tearing in here to L.A.?
In the hopes, Johnny, I'd find these things. I thought from the first that Manley might be the one. Elmer never did really trust him. He told me that many a time.
But you didn't accuse him when I talked to you at the lake.
I wanted some proof.
Manley'd not only get a hunk of Hobbs' insurance, but a share of the business.
That's right, sir. I pulled a little trick on him, too.
What do you mean?
Well, I stopped along the way and I phoned him to make sure that he wouldn't be here for a while.
Well, what did you tell him?
I disguised my voice, Johnny, real good.
That voice of yours?
I told him that this was a friend, I said. That I thought he ought to know that you were working on the case.
Oh.
That if he'd left any evidence at Lake Mojave, he'd better get there and steer you away from it.
Red.
And that's the way I got him away from here so I could find this stuff.
But if he's gone to Lake Mojave...
Oh, I knew you could take care of him. And if I did find these things like I did, I was going to phone you there to be ready for him.
Well, then why did you attack me when I came in here?
Sorry, Johnny, but I thought maybe he'd got wise and come back and maybe recognized my voice after all.
Exactly what happened, Red.
Mr. Manley? Sir?
That's right, J. Stewart Manley. And this is my wife, Mr. Dollar. Red.
Shoot them. Kill them, Stewart. They're burglars, don't you see? And we caught them robbing the house.
Quiet, Mary.
I suppose that means we were right. That you did kill your partner, Elmer Hobbs.
That stupid old man, fishing all the time instead of tending to the office, taking all the money.
Mary!
But now we'll have some money for a change. Own the business.
Mary, shut up. I see you found old Elmer's things.
No, sir. This fishing rod is his, not yours.
Oh, put it down.
Pretty foolish of you to bring that stuff here, Manley. Especially the axe. I'm sure any good police lab will find traces of aluminum from the boat on it.
Kill him, Stewart. They're robbers. Their fingerprints will be all over.
Yeah, Mary's right. Your prowler's ransacking my house. And I can see the bulge of your pistol, Dollar. So any court in the land will uphold my right to kill you in self-defense. And Dollar, you go first.
Listen, you think you can shoot as straight as I can cast a fishing plug?
Huh?
Like this?
Oh, no.
No!
Oh, get back, Mrs. Manley. I'd hate to have to sock a woman.
But you hurt him.
Yeah, as badly as he hurt Elmer Hobbs.
And look, that horrible fishing plug. The hooks have ripped his hand open. It's bleeding. That red-headed old fool throwing those hooks at him.
Oh, quiet.
Stewart, dear Stewart.
Red, that was a beautiful piece of casting. He almost tore his hand off with that plug.
Well, Johnny, it was with Elmer's own rig. I think maybe he would have liked that. I hope so. But you know what I hope the most, Johnny?
What, Red?
That the fishing is real good up where Elmer is now.
Manley and his wife Yeah, Red had figured right. The morning of the day that Hobbs was killed, they'd rented a boat out of Cottonwood Landing, a few miles up the lake, then ambushed him there in the big basin. Bob Cole at Cottonwood had noticed the new rod and reel when they'd come back off the lake, just before the big storm. Had noticed the axe, too, when he'd wondered about it. Now he knows. So, from here on in, it's up to the sheriff's office and the courts. Expense account total, including return of Ham's car, a few days of fishing, and the trip back to Hartford, $307 even. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Our star will return in just a moment.
Our flag now numbers 50 stars, and behind each star there stands yet another flag for each of the 50 states. New Mexico's flag is an ancient Zia sun symbol, a red circle on a field of yellow, radiating from 4 points, which we might indicate as north, east, south, and west, are 4 parallel lines. 4 was a sacred number of Zia, the number most often used by the giver of all good gifts. The earth had 4 main directions, each with its own gifts. The year had 4 seasons, each with a different offering for mankind. The day had 4 phases: sunrise, noontime, evening, and night. Life had its 4 divisions: childhood, youth, manhood, and old age. Everything in life and nature was bound together in a circle, the circle of life and love, without beginning and without end. And in this great brotherhood of all things, man had 4 obligations. He must develop a strong body, a clear mind, and a pure spirit. 4th, and most sacred, he must devote unselfishly body, mind, and spirit to the welfare of his people. From this simple symbol, the Zia sun, we read the legend of a wonderful philosophy. The flag's colors of flaming red and golden orange represent the banners of Ferdinand and Isabella, which were carried by Columbus across the Atlantic. New Mexico's state flag, the flag of the 47th state to enter the Union, was adopted on March 19th, 1925.
Now, here's our star to tell you about next week's story.
Next week, some of the funniest old characters I ever meet. And a 10-year-old boy solves the case. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, originates in Hollywood and is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone, who also wrote today's story. Heard in our cast were Virginia Gregg, Harley Bear, Forrest Lewis, Barney Phillips, Alan Reed, and Russell Thorson. Be sure to join us next week, same time and station, for another exciting story of yours truly, Johnny Dollar. This is Roy Rowan speaking.
This is the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
and Slate 107B.
This is Johnny Dollar for broadcast Sunday, May 10, 1959.
Johnny Dollar.
Johnny, this is Ray Connolly.
Oh, yeah, over at Continental Insurance Company.
That's right, yeah.
Oh, what's the problem, Ray?
Problem? No problem at all, actually.
Oh?
Are you busy tonight, Johnny?
No plans at all.
Well, you see, my wife's out of town for a few days, and Johnny, well, I wonder if you'd have dinner with me tonight. Can you do that?
Why, sure, why not?
Good.
Just name the time and place, and I'll meet you there.
Well, I happen to have a nice thick fillet of prime beef in my refrigerator at home, and if you like steak...
Sure do.
Well, why don't you run over to my place at, say, 6:30? I'll pour you a couple of cocktails, and we'll tackle that steak. Okay, Johnny?
Ray.
Yeah?
You're sure there isn't something that's bothering you?
6:30, Johnny?
Yeah, okay, but now listen.
Good. I'll see you then.
Well, why don't you...
Bob Bailey in the exciting adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account. America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Each weekday on CBS Radio, there's a bright package of lively entertainment that goes by the modest title, Just Entertainment. It's where to find Pat Buttram, his cohorts, and his warm humor. Mr. Buttram is ably aided by lovely Marion Morgan and that singing foursome called the Halloran Quartet. Just for entertainment, sample Just Entertainment with Pat Buttram tomorrow on CBS Radio. Also on the recommended list, a fascinating fact-filled 10 minutes each weeknight with Ron Cochran. Recently, he's given the Answer Please treatment to listener queries on such topics as the Chesapeake Bay's Oyster War, the Irish Sweepstakes, Spring Fever, and underseas exploration of the Arctic. Be listening tomorrow night. Discover how you can ask Ron Cochran to give your question the answer, please. Just Entertainment and Answer Please. One for facts, one for fun. Leave your dial set right where it is now to enjoy both these entertaining programs each Monday through Friday on CBS Radio. And now, Act One of yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to the Continental Insurance Company, Home Office, Hartford, Connecticut. Following is an account of expenses incurred during my investigation of the fatal fillet matter. There was something very funny about Ray Connolly's sudden invitation to have dinner with him, much less cocktails. I'd been at his office far too many times, had seen the bottles of pills that he kept in his desk, watched his secretary bring him a glass of milk at precisely 10:30 a.m. and exactly 3:15 p.m., had listened to the dull details of his ulcer-free diet more times than I can remember. So when Ray said cocktails, come on now, Dollar, stop trying to build up a case out of nothing. And yet, for reasons that will be made clear later in this report, everything goes on expense account. Item 1, $1.40 for a cab to Ray's apartment. It was 6:30 on the nose when I pushed the doorbell. Oh, and I decided that if he did have something bothering him, I'd let him get around to it in his own sweet time. I wished later that I hadn't.
Johnny, I'm glad to see you. Come in.
Yeah, how are you, Ray?
Well, you know how it is.
Those ulcers been kicking up on you again?
Yeah, a little. Sit down, Johnny, sit down.
Sure, thanks.
Now, what would you like? Martini, Manhattan?
Got a plain old scotch and soda lying around?
I certainly have. Have it for you in a second. Never touch it myself anymore, of course.
You mean you're not drinking with me?
Maybe I'll have a glass of milk and... Let's see. Yeah. It's time for me to take one of my pills. There you are, Johnny.
Thanks. But did it ever occur to you, Ray, that if you'd stop worrying so much about that gut of yours, you might not have so much trouble with it?
Johnny, it's easy to see you never had an ulcer.
No, sir, and I don't ever intend to.
Well, if you were in my end of the business, there's something just happened that I want to tell you about.
Oh?
Yeah, later. Incidentally, this steak we're having is the most beautiful thing you ever saw. Well, come on, I'll show it to you while I get a glass of milk.
Okay.
I guess my wife ordered some groceries sent over from Morris Baines Market before she left. I told you she's away.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, left yesterday. Well, the steak was delivered last night, along with some other things. There. How about that?
It looks like you could cut that with a fork.
Prime beef. Excuse me, I'll get my glass of milk.
Sure.
Hey, how do you like your steak, by the way?
Only one way, blood rare.
Well, of course, I'll have to have mine rather well done. So I'll just cut the fillet in half, and it'll be no problem at all.
Ray, what about this thing that happened in the office you were going to tell me about?
Later, Johnny. Later.
Again, looking back, I wished that I'd pressed the point, but I didn't. Instead, I had another drink, watched him sip his glass of milk, listened to him complain some more about his pet ulcer, and then, finally, we sat down to dinner.
There we are. Isn't that the most beautiful steak you ever saw?
Oh, no.
Huh?
Ray, didn't you hear me?
What? Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Oh, dear, I'm terribly embarrassed.
Well, brother, you ought to be. That looks like a piece of shoe leather.
When you said blood rare, and I forgot all about it.
Ray, you are a dog.
You're sure you can't eat it this way?
I'd rather chew up an old boot. Hey, listen now, something's bugging you. Now, what is it?
Nothing, Johnny. Look, I'll go out and buy another one for you, huh?
And let yours sit here and get cold? No.
Oh, Johnny, I'm terribly sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead, Ray. Tear into it. I'll go out in the kitchen and see if I can find the makings of a sandwich. I could have killed him overcooking a perfectly good steak that way. But instead, I made myself a sandwich and stuck around. Because I knew that sooner or later he'd tell me his real purpose in having me come over. And later he did. At least he started to. We had washed the dishes, then gone back into the living room. I had settled down with a third cup of coffee and a cigarette, and he was sipping at another glass of milk.
It's just that I don't like being threatened, Johnny.
Threatened?
Heaven knows I have enough trouble keeping this ulcer under control with just the daily run of problems I have to face at the office.
Oh, what do you mean by
You know, people demanding more from their insurance than they deserve. People filing claims when they aren't entitled to any insurance at all, and then trying to... Oh!
What?
Nothing, Johnny. I just... I'll be all right.
You forget to take one of your pills, Ray?
No, but maybe I better take another.
Oh, yes, me. You're taking too many of them. But what was this talk about being threatened?
Well, Johnny, this fella by the name of... Oh, no.
Ray.
Johnny!
Ray, what's the matter?
This pain in my stomach, it's killing me.
Easy now. Here, let me get you on the sofa.
Oh, medicine, quick, please.
There you are. Now, what medicine?
Anything to stop this. Johnny,
I grabbed the telephone and called Dr. Ramsey. But because of a traffic tie-up, it was nearly half an hour before he got there. Meantime, Ray lay on the sofa getting paler and paler until he was white as a sheet. The doctor, completely familiar with Ray's ulcer problem, did what he could. But after 45 minutes, realized things were getting beyond his control, so he called an ambulance. Another half hour. And yeah, by the time they got him to the hospital, in spite of injections and oxygen along the way, Ray Connolly was dead.
Act two of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in a moment. Tibet in the news. Who's an expert on Tibetan affairs? Who was the personal guest of the Dalai Lama in happier times at the top of the world? Why, Lowell Thomas, of course. Ask us another part of the world, and there's every chance the answer again would be Lowell Thomas. The roving raconteur has been just about everywhere, seen just about everything. So when a story breaks, he has that extra edge of intimate first-hand experience to give extra dimension to his reporting. One of the most colorful men in the industry, one of the most striking different sounds on the CBS radio network is Lowell Thomas, heard every Monday through Friday evening with his fascinating reporting. Only a network could bring you a Lowell Thomas. Only the CBS radio network does. Remember, the keen mind and formidable experience of this noted world traveler, lecturer, raconteur, and CBS newsman is an exclusive with the affiliated stations of CBS Radio. Monday through Friday evenings, don't miss Lowell Thomas. And now, Act Two of yours truly, Johnny Dollar and the Fatal Fillet Matter.
Mr. Dollar. I knew that Connolly's ulcer condition was serious. I've been treating him for a couple of years, but I certainly never believed this could happen.
What it means is that he bled to death. Is that it, Doctor?
Yes, internal hemorrhage. But of such intensity, I don't understand it. And yet, well, let's face it, Dollar, this sort of thing has happened before.
Has happened before?
Yes.
Doctor, you may be right about that.
Well, of course I am.
But not in the way you think. I went back to Ray's apartment, let myself in with a key I'd filched out of his pocket, then went over every inch of the place. And I came up with nothing. Nothing, that is, until I went into the kitchen. There I saw for the second time the bag of groceries that his wife had had delivered from Baines Market, from which Ray had taken only one thing, so far as I knew: the steak he'd eaten that night. Yeah, and he had eaten every bit of it. I dumped them out on the table, made a list of them. Then I noticed something else on the table. It was a cheap gold-plated cuff link with the initials XD on it. Early the next morning, I talked with Morris Bain, proprietor of the food market.
Insurance investigator?
That's right, Mr. Bain.
Well, no, George, just call me Morris. That's what my customers do.
Okay, Morris. Well?
Well, of course. I'll be glad to cooperate, Mr. Dollar, every which way I possibly can.
Good. Now,
The
all I want to
second
know...
shelf on the left, Julius, right over the salad dressing. I gotta keep canned snails. I gotta keep for some of my special customers. But how people can eat those, I don't know. Oh, good morning, Mrs. Beckham. It's a lovely morning, isn't it?
Now, Morris...
Oh, yeah, you wanted information. Eh?
Yes.
Oh, Mrs. Vandersloot, how are you, huh? How's your nice little doggy this fight? No, get him out of here before he does. No, get outside. Out. Oh, what's your problem with dogs in the store?
Yeah, I'm sure. But now, do you have a customer by the name of Connolly?
Mrs. Connolly? Sure, lovely woman. She was in here only the other... Oh, how do you do, Miss Keena? How's my little sweetheart today, huh? We got a special on those fancy canned chestnuts with the light syrup
listen
that
to
you
me.
like.
Mrs. Connolly was in here when?
The day before yesterday. Oh, how's her husband, Mr. Dollar? Is he still suffering from those terrible ulcers?
No, not anymore.
Oh, it's a miracle.
Hardly. The point is, she ordered some stuff from you.
Yeah, that's right. We delivered it, too, day before yesterday.
What? What did she order?
Well, right here in the office, Mr. Dollar. I'll tell you exactly what went over there, but exactly.
Good.
You wanted breakfast cereals, madam, right there in the second aisle. Yeah, you're welcome. Now, right here in this pile of bills is the one for whatever the... here we are. Mrs. Ray Connolly.
Good. Let me compare with the list I have.
Sure. Julius, take care of Mrs. Freeband there by the cheese. Such a time I have with her help. And such an exclusive clientele, you have no idea. Well, did you find what you're looking for?
Yeah, everything checks, except for one thing, the steak you delivered.
Steak?
That's right, a prime fillet, but it's not on the list.
We don't sell meat.
What?
No, of course not. Sadie, double-check the Hathaway order. Somebody made a mistake last week.
Wait a minute.
That's a good girl.
You're sure your delivery boy didn't take a steak to the Connollys?
How could he?
Oh, fine.
No,
But
we
thanks
don't
anyway,
even sell
Morris.
them. No, it's a pleasure anytime.
Be seeing you.
Yes, sure. Sadie, did you deliver the Broomfield order, Xavier?
So
do it right
now
away.
we try a different tack. Item 2 or 3, whatever it is, a dime for phone call to Dr. Ransom. I suggested he take whatever steps were necessary to make a complete examination of the stomach of the now deceased Ray Connolly. Item 4, 85 cents for a cab to the office of Continental Insurance. Ray's secretary had obviously been crying.
I just can't believe it, Mr. Dollar.
Yeah, I know, Gracie. Now listen. Did any of the people who've come here to see him ever threaten him?
Threaten him?
That's right.
Well, lots of people have threatened lots of things when they didn't feel their claims were met properly, but he was the fairest, the most honest man. When, Mr. Dollar?
Somebody in here yesterday, maybe?
Well, yes, there was a man in here yesterday who was very angry about something.
Oh?
I could hear him pounding the desk in there and swearing.
Who was he?
I don't know. He must have come back with Mr. Conley after lunch, and I didn't see him leave, but look, he lost a cufflink.
Cufflink? Let me... XD.
What?
Gracie, this is the man I'm looking for. Can you find me a policy with this man's name on it?
Just from these initials with all the policies on file?
Probably a beneficiary whose claim was settled or refused.
You say the man, Mr. Dollar.
Yeah, Gracie. The man who murdered your boss.
Act 3 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in a moment.
Be sociable, look smart, Pepsi. Drink light, refreshing Pepsi. Stay young and fair and debonair. Be sociable, have a Pepsi.
When friends drop in, let your hospitality show you're sociable in the modern manner. Pepsi, you know, is the favorite of the smart and young at heart.
Be sociable, look smart. Keep up to date with Pepsi. Drink light, refreshing Pepsi. Stay young and fair and debonair. Be sociable, have a Pepsi.
Have you tried a Pepsi lately?
And now, Act 3 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Expense account item 5, another dime for another call to Dr. Ransom. Yes, the autopsy had been made. And yes, they had found enough ground glass in the stomach of Ray Connolly to kill 3 men. That's why Ray, with his ulcer condition, had gone so fast.
While he was with you, Johnny, the police would like very much to talk to you.
Well, certainly they don't think I did it.
Well, of course not. At least,
Yeah? Well?
well, after all, you were with him at the time when he ate that filet.
Okay, Doc. I'll get in touch with him. Item 6, 10 cents for another call to Ray's secretary at Continental Insurance.
Yes, Mr. Dollar, I have.
Nice going, Grace. What's his name?
Xavier Donato. The folder was still at Mr. Connolly's desk.
Donato. And the address?
13425 Sunset.
Sunset. Got it.
And listen, the reason he was angry with Mr. Connolly...
Yeah?
He was named as beneficiary of his father's life insurance policy.
Yeah?
But his father just committed suicide. You see what I mean?
Yeah. Donato couldn't collect.
Yes. I mean, no, he couldn't. So...
Gracie, you're a doll. Item 7, $2.50 for a taxi to the address far out on Sunset Avenue. It turned out to be an old ramshackle rooming house in a pretty lousy neighborhood.
Sure, look for yourself, but I tell you, he ain't here anymore.
When did he leave?
Yesterday morning, bag and baggage. There you are, see for yourself. Now, don't tell me he's still living here.
Well, I can't say that I blame him.
What's that?
Have you any idea where he might have gone?
If I did, I'd send the cops to get the rent he owes me.
The cops will want him for a lot more than your rent, lady.
Yeah? What's more than that?
Murder. Item 8, another phone call to police headquarters. I talked with Sergeant Jimmy Maxwell in homicide. Only I listened more than I talked.
Cufflinks, huh? With the initials XD on them?
That's right.
What's the idea of not telling us before? As if you didn't know it, that's withholding evidence. And in a murder case... Hey, look, that's another thing, Dollar. If you suspected murder, why didn't you call us in instead of having that doctor order the autopsy? You trying to hide something?
Are you kidding?
Where are you, anyway? We've been combing the city for you. As if you didn't know it, you got a little explaining to do down
look.
here. And listen, who do those initials XD stand for?
Well, if you let me get a word in edgewise, I might tell you.
Well?
The D stands for Donato, the X for Xavier.
Xavier? What kind of a name is that?
Xavier, if you want to say it that way.
Oh, boy, that's a rare one. You got his address?
He just left the place where he was living, so he's probably 1,000 miles away. But Xavier?
Huh?
Of course, and right under my nose.
What? Johnny?
Maybe I should have told him more, everything I knew. But I didn't want to have to wait for the police or anybody else. Ray had been a friend of mine, and to bring his killer to justice was all I cared about. As for that name, Xavier, of course I'd heard it, only a few hours before. And for some stupid reason, it had never occurred to me that it began with the letter X. Item 9, $1.50 for another taxi. This time to the... Yeah, you guessed it. Excuse me, please.
Julius,
Pardon me, will you
how many
please, madam?
times do I gotta tell you? You pack the vegetables on top.
Morris!
The goes in the bottom, huh?
Morris, come over here.
Mr. Dollar. Back so soon already?
Now listen, when I left you early this morning,
Yeah?
just as I was leaving, I heard you call somebody by the name of Xavier.
Yeah, you mean that slowpoke, huh? That dumb, stupid...
All right, is he
lazy-
still here? What's his last name?
His last name?
Yeah, what is it?
Well, his last name, it's... Sadie, how many times I gotta tell you when a customer's got a complaint?
Well, this one has.
What? No,
Xavier.
listen, Mr. Dollar.
Xavier. Xavier Donato.
You looking for me, mister?
You're Xavier Donato?
Yeah. What do you want?
I just want to show you a couple of cufflinks. Here. Are these yours?
Yeah, mine.
Then don't try to pull a gun.
Me? I got no gun, mister.
I found one of these in Ray Connolly's office.
Sure. I got mad. I slam bang on the desk at him.
I found the other one at his apartment, where you delivered that steak to him.
That steak full of ground glass. Where'd you get that steak?
Wilson's Prime Market along the way to his place.
Then you put in the glass and took it up to him.
Yeah. That was pretty good, huh? Say, you from the cops?
You expecting the cops?
I don't know.
But you didn't run. You didn't leave town.
Sure. Because I'm smart. You leave town, they know you done it. They chase you, they catch you. And honest, I didn't know it was going to kill him.
You know it now.
But I had to get even. You know, because he wouldn't give me that insurance because my old man killed himself. So did my grandpop and his old man. Just because they didn't get something they want.
You mean they all committed suicide?
Sure. Because it was all, you know, off in the head. But not me. You understand? Because I'm smart. Somebody does something against me, like that insurance, well, I get even with them. You understand? I don't go kill myself. I get even with them. And you think they're going to find out? No. You think they're ever going to catch me?
What do you think?
Oh. You did, didn't you?
Yeah.
Gee. I guess you're even smarter than I am, mister.
Yeah. Come on, Xavier. Prison? I doubt it. Not with a family history like that. But there are institutions for his kind. I'm sure he'll spend the rest of his life in one of them. And maybe, by studying his case, the doctors, the psychologists can learn more about helping such people before they go off the deep end. Expense account? Forget it. Ray Conley was my friend. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Our star will return in just a moment. A good college education has a lot to do with your future. Whether you're a student, a parent, a college alumnus, a prospective employer, or just an average citizen, you have a stake in the future health of our colleges. The future security and well-being of our nation depends on them. Now is the time to help by contributing to the college of your choice. Just as our elementary and high schools have become overcrowded, so now our colleges are threatened by the increased school population. Funds must be forthcoming now to expand college facilities and hire more professors. Otherwise, our colleges will be unable to handle the millions of future students seeking entrance. If we are to keep pace with the Russians in scientific developments, if we're to improve our standard of living and maintain our free way of life, we must have greater college facilities and have them now. For more information, write for a free explanatory booklet to Higher Education, Box 36, Times Square Station, New York, 36. Now, here is our star to tell you about next week's story.
Next week, a pair of twins. And believe me, they bring me a double dose of trouble. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, originates in Hollywood and is written, produced, and directed by Jack Johnstone. Heard in our cast were Virginia Gregg, D.J. Thompson, Jack Edwards, Marvin Miller, Larry Dobkin, Harry Bartell, and Frank Gerstle. This is Dan Cubberly speaking.
Johnny Dollar.
This is Al Turner at New Britain Mutual.
Hi, Al. What goes with you these days?
But Johnny,
One of our important clients is very anxious to get in touch with you. Says that she's an old friend of yours.
Oh, who's that?
Her name is Mrs. Virginia Haskell.
Virginia Haskell?
That's right.
Sorry, Al, but I'm afraid I never heard of her.
Before she got married, about a year ago, her name was Van Doren.
Chinny Van Doren?
Yes.
Oh, well, now that's something else again. And I mean something.
Well, then you do know her.
One of the most delectable bits of feminine pulchritude I ever ran up against. Believe me, a young man's fancy didn't have to wait for spring to turn to thoughts of her.
Now, what's that mean?
Oh, Al, even I had serious ideas about that gal at one time.
Oh?
Yeah, right after college. Isn't every kid of that age intrigued by the idea of marrying into a fortune? And very beautiful. At least she was when I knew her.
Still is, Johnny.
So she's married to somebody by the name of Haskell, huh?
Gordon Haskell. They live on Birch Brook Road, down in Bronxville, New York.
Funny.
What?
Well, when I knew her, that blonde charmer didn't have eyes for anybody but Paul Snowden.
Who's Paul Snowden?
Childhood sweetheart, that sort of thing. Poor boy, making good on his own, you know the bit.
Ah, yes. Too proud to marry her because of her money.
But she swore that she'd never marry anybody else, that he was her one true love. But I guess she changed her mind. What did she want to see me about, Al?
She didn't say. She did make it clear, however, that it has to do with some of the family insurance.
Well, that's as good an excuse as any.
Well, then, do you want to run on down there?
For a longing look at the gorgeous Ginny Van Doren? But it'll cost you money, Al.
Listen, Johnny, with the premiums we get for all the insurance she carries, life, house, property, and so on, the sky's the limit.
Brother, have you stuck your neck out?
Well, now, that doesn't mean you have
Albert,
to...
I'll be in touch.
Bob Bailey in the intriguing adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account. America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
And now, Act One of yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to the New Britain Mutual Insurance Company Home Office, Hartford, Connecticut. Following is an account of expenses incurred during my investigation of the wayward heiress matter. I decided it might be handy to have my own car along for this one, so expense account item 1, $4.25 for a tank full of gas. I picked up the freeway and headed south and west to fashionable Westchester County, New York. To me, Bronxville has always been one of New York's most charming suburbs. Only about 20 miles north of the big city, it's full of beautiful homes with lots of trees and expensive landscape properties. There's a lot of wealth in Bronxville. The Haskell home on Birch Brook Road was a huge English-type affair, built of stone and stucco, the kind of place that'll last 100 years. 18 or 20 rooms, I'd guess, and surrounded by well-kept lawns and flower gardens, oak and sycamore trees and neatly trimmed hedges. Yep, a big hunk of the Van Doren oil money must have gone into it, unless young Haskell was mighty rich. Virginia, looking every bit as beautiful as I'd remembered her from college back in the Midwest, greeted me like a long-lost, well, brother, darn it.
And, Johnny, I'm so glad you could come. I'm worried, sick.
Worried about what, Jenny?
Gordon, my husband.
Well, look, it's none of my business, but it kind of surprised me to learn you'd married somebody other than Paul Snowden.
It's Paul who has me worried, Johnny.
Oh?
Yes.
How?
Well, back in the old days in college, I wasn't interested in anybody in the world but Paul. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, I remember. The rest of us couldn't get to first base with you.
I loved him, Johnny. And I hoped that as soon as he could get established in a business of some kind, he'd ask me to marry him.
Well, what stopped him, Jenny?
Money. When Father died and all the Van Doren money came to me, Paul suddenly changed. He stopped seeing me. He even avoided me. So then, well, I guess what I did was make a mistake.
What was that?
I went to see him at his little plant there in Chicago.
Chicago?
That's where we were living then. And, Johnny, the only reason he stayed there was to be close to me.
So you went to see him?
Yes. And I proposed to him.
Oh?
Also, well, this was the big mistake. I offered to finance the machine tool business that he was trying so hard to build up. But he didn't like that and told me so. I'm afraid there was quite a scene there.
You've just been looking down your nose at me all these years. It's been nothing but pity.
Paul!
Yeah, poor timid little me. Needs help. Maybe needs mothering by somebody who pities him. By somebody who can afford to support him.
Paul, that isn't true.
Then why do you come offering help, offering money? I don't want pity. Somebody holding up my head for me. I've got to work this out alone. It may take me a long time, but I'm not going to... Oh, I'm sorry, Jenny, but don't you see I love you? I'll never love anybody else.
Then why don't you let me
Don't you understand? I'll never get anywhere on your charity. You're feeling sorry for me.
Paul, darling, please.
All right. All right, the less we see of each other now, the better. Maybe sometime, but... Well, no, not now. Find somebody else, Jenny. Somebody who can give you the things you need and want.
Uh-huh. A little too much pride for his own good, I'd say.
It upset me terribly, Johnny. Especially when he told me to go out and find somebody else.
But I take it you did.
Then Gordon came along. Sort of caught me on the rebound, I guess. Tall, good-looking. He fell in love with me the first time we ever met. I guess he kind of swept me off my feet.
But now that the honeymoon's over...
He's been wonderful to me. And I love Gordon, Johnny. I love him very much.
As much as Paul?
Not perhaps in the same way. But we're very happy together. And there's never been any strain or tension because of this difference in our fortunes.
Gordon isn't wealthy either?
Well, he hasn't what I have, of course.
But he manages to get along.
And I'm being a good wife to him.
Oh, I'm sure you are, Jenny.
And don't you see, if Paul, because of his jealousy, were to kill Gordon...
Jenny, you mean you honestly believe he might?
Yes. That's exactly what I mean. That's why I sent for you.
But good heavens, gal.
Oh, Johnny, you've got to stop him.
And now, Act Two of yours truly, Johnny Dollar and the Wayward Heiress Matter.
All right, now, Jenny, listen to me.
It's true, Johnny. I'm sure of it. Paul Snowden has come here to kill my husband.
He's told you as much?
Haven't you been listening to me?
Well, of course I have.
Maybe my marriage to Gordon was on the rebound, on the spur of the moment. Call it anything you like, but it was Paul who turned me down.
At least for the time being.
I told you what he said.
And simply because of a misguided sense of pride, because you had money and he didn't.
Yes.
Well, how did Paul take it when he learned that you were going to marry Gordon, I mean?
He was terribly angry. He made all sorts of wild threats.
Well, now, that doesn't necessarily...
He said that he would kill anybody else who married me, and he will, Johnny.
Does he know Gordon?
He's never seen him.
But he wants to kill him? Oh, Ginny, that doesn't make any sense.
Don't you understand? It was to get away from Paul that Gordon and I came here to get married and settle down.
Or because you were afraid you might still be in love with Paul.
It isn't a very nice thing to say, Johnny.
But it could be true, couldn't it? Is Gordon in business here in the East?
Well, I've helped him to start one, Johnny. A little importing business.
What did he do before? Jenny?
Well, his family had quite a bit of money once. But they lost it all in some bad speculations. And, well, if you must know, Gordon just sort of played around for a while.
Did Paul know all this?
I don't know.
Because if he did, maybe you shouldn't blame the poor, hard-working guy for not liking him.
But Gordon is good, and he's good to me.
He's good to you. Seems to me you're the one
You mustn't say that, Johnny. He is good to me. And he's all I have now. If only Paul hadn't found out where we've come to live.
Oh, look, Jenny, I'm an insurance investigator, not a love counselor, and... Oh, what's the matter?
Don't you believe me? All I've told you? Or are you just trying to be very cold-blooded about this?
Jenny!
All right, then. This happens to be a cold-blooded insurance matter. For the simple reason that Gordon's life is insured. And if you have no heart, if all you can think about is business, all right. It's your job to keep Paul from killing Gordon.
Now listen, Ginny, you've been married nearly a year. Nothing's happened, nothing at all. Yet now, all of a sudden...
Because Paul has come here. He telephoned me. And there can be only one reason why he's here.
I doubt that. But where is he?
In New York, at a hotel.
What hotel?
He didn't say.
Well, is he coming out here to the house?
He said he wouldn't come until he could be sure that Gordon was here.
And then?
Then to prepare for the worst. Those were his very words, Johnny. Prepare for the worst.
Wasn't Gordon here when he phoned?
Yes, but I didn't tell him that.
Where's Gordon now?
Over in Larchmont at the Beverly Arms.
In hiding, in other words.
I want him to stay there until something can be done about Paul, that's all.
Well, if Paul's so all-fired determined...
He is, Johnny. He always was.
That could be a pretty admirable quality, Ginny.
Of course it is. But when he's determined to do such a horrible... Johnny, I don't understand you, the way you're taking all this. Are you going to help me or aren't you?
Yes. Okay, Ginny, I'll see what I can do. If by any chance what you suspect is true, if Paul really has come here to get him...
Of course he has. Paul doesn't give up, no matter what he set out to do.
Which is to say that sooner or later, if you'd kept your head, if you hadn't gone off the deep end, if you had waited and married him, Ginny...
I know, I should have. I should have waited for him, no matter how long it took him.
Yeah? And what?
No, Johnny, I didn't mean that. I'm married to Gordon now, and I must protect him.
Okay, then. The first thing to do is get him over here.
What?
Sure. If Paul's staying undercover, it's the only way to bring him out in the open.
But if anything happens to
Gordon...
Gordon...
Like you say, it's my job to see that it doesn't. I'll see you later. Yeah, like I've said many times before, in this business of mine, you run into some real wildies, and this was one of them. Made me feel like an advice to the love shorn column. And it was pretty obvious that Ginny was still in love with Paul, that she was sorry she had married and was supporting this Gordon Haskell, who, incidentally, must have been a smart cookie to have caught her on the rebound, latched onto her and her fortune. But she'd made her bed, and by golly, out of nothing but stubborn pride, she was going to lie in it. It was well after dark by the time I left her, and as I walked out to my car, I decided that what I'd better do first was to locate Paul Snowden, somewhere in some hotel in New York City. Find out what this whole crazy affair was really all about. But then as I reached for the door handle on my car...
Just a minute.
Huh? Yeah?
I've been waiting for you.
Oh? Who are you? As if I couldn't guess.
Mister, I found out all about you, why you came here.
Me? Oh, well,
if you don't believe me, take a look at these photostats from the police files in half a dozen western states.
Well, now, just take it easy. Let me put on the dash light so I can take a look at them.
You'll have plenty of time to look at them when I'm through with you.
Just a
Mister,
minute.
I want to kill you. All right, now. You want some more?
Johnny, what on earth's going on out there?
Huh?
Johnny?
What?
Johnny!
Oh, no.
Paul! Paul, what have you done to Johnny Dollar? Johnny! Oh, dear, this is terrible.
Well, it ain't exactly good.
That was Paul. I saw him.
Yeah, so I figured.
He must have found out that I sent for you. Why, if I hadn't come out of the house to see what the noise was all about, he might... Don't you see, Johnny? Don't you believe me now when I say he's come here to kill Gordon?
Jenny, I guess if you didn't convince me, Paul has.
Now, Act 3 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
I went back into the house with Ginny's help, and a good stiff drink plus her tender menstruations brought me back to normal. I suppose I could make all sorts of excuses about having been caught off guard, but I won't. Paul Snowden had a good pair of fists, and he knew how to use them. My plan had been to call on the New York City police for help in locating Paul, but now this had suddenly become a personal matter. And yet, wait a minute. Ginny.
Yes, Johnny. Are you feeling
Listen, didn't you tell me that Paul and your husband Gordon didn't know each other, had never met?
Yes.
What about those papers, the photostats?
Papers?
And we've been thinking that Paul jumped me because he'd found out you'd called me in to protect Gordon.
Of course.
Well, it just happens we were wrong.
Oh, Johnny, I don't understand.
Listen, I'll be right back.
But, Johnny, he may still be out there somewhere.
I wouldn't be at all surprised.
Well, but, Johnny, don't you...
I found no sign of Paul or the papers he'd shoved at me. But I was certain that he was still in the neighborhood, waiting. But not for me. I jumped into my car, drove away, then circled around the block, parked, and sneaked into the house the back way.
Johnny! I thought it was Gordon coming in this back door. I phoned him that Paul had been here.
Yeah? What'd he say?
Only that until Paul is taken care of, he'd better get out of town. But, Johnny, that's such a...
Oh, great. And yet, if he plans on being away for any length of time... Excuse me a minute. Yeah, there was a chance, a bare chance, that this whole thing could come to a head very quickly, with a bit of luck. I opened the front door, then called out into the darkness beyond the porch. Paul? Paul Snowden. This is Johnny Dollar. If you're out there, stick around. Now listen. I'm leaving this front door unlocked, so use your own judgment. I went back into the library. Standing there with Ginny was a man, a few years older, slightly gray around the temples. He had a worried, furtive look about his eyes. He was momentarily startled when I walked in on him.
Johnny. Gordon, this is Johnny Dollar.
Hiya, Gordon.
He sneaked in the back way, Johnny.
But I'm not staying around to get killed. Now listen, Virginia.
Gordon, it'll be all right now.
No, I don't know who Dollar is or why you've called him in, but I'm not staying around here with Paul Snowden gunning for me.
You're afraid of him, Gordon?
Wouldn't you be? Come on, Virginia. Open up the safe. You've got plenty of money in it, I know.
But look, darling...
Come on, get it for me. Give it to me.
But to run away like this...
Oh, because Paul wouldn't run away.
You know that isn't what I mean.
Give me the money, Virginia. Or do you want a dead husband on your hands? Well...
Now listen, Gordon.
You listen. This is none of your business.
I wouldn't be too sure of that.
Well, I am, Virginia.
Now, just a minute.
Will you keep out of this?
No.
Oh, yes, you will. You see what I mean?
Gordon, that gun...
Give me that money so I can save my life.
Put that thing down, Gordon.
Stand back, Dollar. I'll pull this trigger.
Brother, that's what you think.
Yes? Oh, I'll kill you.
Thanks, Paul.
I aimed low, Dollar. I'm afraid he'll live.
Yeah, he'll be okay.
Should have killed him, I guess. But I'd rather see him face the courts.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Those photostats you have?
Yeah. Police files all over the West. He has a record as long as your arm, under various names. Wealthy women. Married them, took their money.
Oh, no.
Yes, Jenny. And some of them... Well, he killed them.
Paul, I didn't know.
I
didn't know.
I'm sorry, Dollar, about what happened outside earlier, but in the darkness, I thought you were Gordon.
It's, okay, Paul. You've, more than made up for it. Well, maybe Paul and Ginny will finally get together for keeps. I don't know. I don't even know whether I care. I'm just glad I wasn't involved. That is, any more than I was. Expense account total, including mileage of my car back to Hartford, a lousy $10. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Our star will return in just a moment. Now, here's our star to tell you about next week's story.
Next week, a sweet little old lady involved in one of the dirtiest rackets I know. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, originates in Hollywood and is written, produced, and directed by Jack Johnstone. Heard in our cast were Virginia Gregg, Les Tremaine, Sam Edwards, and James McCallion. Be sure to join us next week, same time and station, for another exciting story of yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
This is Dan Cubberly speaking.
$20.
Johnny, you better come right on back out here.
Yeah, back out where, and who are you?
Johnny, this is Red Bear.
The fishing guide out there at Lake Mojave Resort?
That's right.
Red.
The best fishing guide west of the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah, I'll go along with you on that, and I should have recognized your voice. But where were you last week when I was out there?
Over to Kingman, Arizona for a couple of days. That's where I ran into some trouble, Johnny. Bad trouble.
Oh, what kind, Red?
Well, when Avery Nicolette died...
Avery Nicolette?
Yes, sir. Well, I went over to bury him on account I was the only real friend he had.
Yeah?
And also to attend to his money and things.
He left them to you, Red, huh?
Well, you see, Avery showed me his will a couple of months ago. He wrote it all out himself, real legal, from some kind of a book he bought.
Yeah?
And he said he was leaving everything to me. Insurance and money and everything.
So?
But when I dug that will out of its hiding place, well, Johnny, somebody changed it.
Well, weren't the police and the insurance company able to see that?
They claim that I'm all wrong, Johnny, but I know better.
You're sure?
Only trouble is, well, Johnny, if you ever expect to see me again...
You mean that somebody's threatening you?
If you ever expect to see me again, you better come out here.
Red.
And if I was you, I wouldn't waste any time. Johnny.
Okay, Red, I'm on my way.
CBS Radio brings you Bob Bailey in the exciting adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account. America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar. To the Greater Southwest Insurance Company, attention of Jake Hessler, Kingman, Arizona office. Following is an account of expenses incurred during my investigation of the will and away matter. Expense account item 1, $154.50 plane transportation from Hartford to New York to Las Vegas, Nevada. Item 2, $50 deposit on a rental car. Instead of driving directly south to Lake Mojave Resort, I took Highway 93 to Kingman, Arizona. I went straight to Jake Hessler's insurance office on East Palm Drive.
Johnny Dollar. Well, sit down, Johnny. Tell me all about you.
Thanks, Jake.
Well, I suppose you're here on account of Avery Nicolette's insurance.
That's right.
Wrote his policy himself. 10,000 straight line.
And the beneficiary?
To be named in his will. That's the way the policy read.
Well, isn't that rather unusual?
It's highly irregular. Took a bit of doing with the company, but that was what he wanted, and that's what he got. And it's made us a lot of trouble.
How, Jake?
Well, first of all, after he died, nobody knew whether he'd even made out a will.
All right, then.
That is, until some old character from old Lake Mojave come along and showed us where he'd hidden it, there in that house he was renting.
That was Red Barrett.
That's right, Lloyd Barrett. He called himself Red.
I understand he was a very good friend of Nicolette's.
Only real friend he ever had, I guess. They used to do some prospecting or cattle raising or something together. And Red was named to get everything Avery had except insurance.
Well, what was there besides the insurance?
Avery's clothes, money.
How much money?
A couple of $1,000 he had in the bank.
Now, look, about that will.
Johnny, we was glad enough to have him find it for us, and it was okay. A holographic will, but okay. But when Red claimed that Avery was leaving everything to him, only the will said otherwise.
Red called me on the phone, Jake.
Yeah, he threatened to do that.
And he told me that will has been tampered with.
That's what he told us, only it wasn't done. And if you don't believe me, you can ask the police and the lawyer about it, only ask them gentle.
Well, what do you mean by that?
Well, they got so fed up with Red having no grounds to substantiate his claim that... Well, they told him if he didn't stop lying about it and bothering them, they'd throw him in the clean.
Oh, Jake, I know Red. I know him well. I know that now and then he might stretch the truth a bit about some of his experiences. The places he's been, about the big fish over there in Mojave that he knows by their first name.
Johnny, that's the very reason.
But there isn't a malicious bone in this whole party. And I refuse to believe that he'd ever lie or try to pull a fast one for $10,000 or $10 million.
Yeah, but Johnny...
Now, who is supposed to get his insurance?
A fellow named Louis Marino.
Who's Louis Marino?
Well, according to Mrs. Turner...
Who's she?
Mrs. Mary Turner. She was a kind of a nurse and housekeeper for Avery the past few months. A real nice woman.
And according to her?
Well, she didn't know much about this Marino, but she'd heard Avery mention him once or twice, that he lived up in Vegas. And, of course, she saw his name in the will when she witnessed it.
Who else witnessed that will?
Old Tim Hansen.
Well, what does he say about it?
Well, Tim got killed about 3 months back one night in April. Got drunk and run his car off the highway down towards Needles.
Well, he's no help. Where will I find this Mrs. Turner?
Still at the house Avery was renting.
And she swears that Marino was mentioned in the will right from the beginning, huh?
Yeah, but your friend Red Barrett...
Okay, Jake, I'll see you later.
You going over to see her?
First, I think I'd better talk to Red over at Lake Mojave Resort and get myself a room for the night.
Ask me, Johnny. You're just wasting your time and your money.
Oh? My money?
Hmm?
I'm on an insurance case, remember? So, I'm on expense account.
What?
Sure, with your company footing the bill.
Now, Johnny...
See you later, Jake. It was after dark when I reached the Lake Mojave Resort. And yeah, Red was waiting for me in his comfortable motel room. We got right down to cases.
And I tell you, Johnny, that when Avery showed me that will, there was never any such a name as Louis Marino on it.
And that was a couple of months ago.
On his birthday, May 11th. I'd taken him a couple of nice steaks to celebrate.
Yeah. Now, what was this about your being threatened?
Threatened?
Well, that's what you implied to me over the phone.
Well, now,
Wait a minute. Were you just stretching things a bit to make sure I'd come out here?
Oh, now, Johnny.
Yeah, I should have known it was something like that.
No, sir. Oh, that is... Well, if you could have seen Marino's face when I told that lawyer, the surrogate, that somebody had meddled with Avery's will, and when I said I was going to send for you...
Red, you old reprobate. You're in about as much danger, huh?
Now, who'd be out there practicing with a gun this time? And...
Get down. Douse the lights.
Sure will. Johnny, that nicked my shirt.
Out there practicing, huh? Those bullets were meant for you.
Maybe. Or maybe you, Johnny.
And the will and away matter.
I thought Red Barrett there at the Lake Mojave Resort was spinning another one of his yarns when he told me he was being threatened by the beneficiary of the insurance he felt that he was entitled to. That is, until a couple of gunshots crashed in through the window of his motel room.
Yes, sir, Johnny. That Louis Marino knew that I was going to send for you, so those shots could just as well have been meant for you as for me.
Wait a minute, Red. Somebody... Stay low. Leave the lights out.
Red!
It's Buster. Buster Fabian.
Yeah.
Johnny. Red said you were coming out here to help me.
Yeah, Buster. Pull down the blinds, Red, and turn the lights on again.
Sure, Johnny.
Those shots, Johnny, and I heard this window break. They came from a car up on the old mine road above here. And the car took off and went over the hill.
So it looks like Red was right. Red, how much do you know about this Louis Marino?
I tell you, Johnny, I never even heard of him until I dug Avery's will out of the linen closet there at his house, and I saw Marino's name on it.
Only thing I know about him is that he's been living up there in Vegas, working in a garage, about 3.5 months now.
Then he must have arrived there shortly before old Tim Hansen died, which probably doesn't mean a thing.
Well, old Tim was the other witness to Avery's will.
Johnny, I knew old Tim pretty well. He was kind of a general handyman over there in Kingman. I used to have him come over here and give us a hand now and then.
So?
Well, did you hear about how he died?
Sure. Got drunk one night and ran his car off the road.
Only Tim never touched the stuff.
You're sure of that, Buster?
Yes, sir.
Well, did you tell the police and coroner?
Yeah, and I guess they changed their report. Not that it means anything.
I wonder. Let me get some dates straight.
Dates, Johnny?
Yeah, how long was Avery Nicolette living over there in Cayman?
Since January.
And before that?
California, working in the oil field. But the doctor told him if he didn't get over here in the desert, that his lungs wouldn't hold out more than a couple of months.
When did Mrs. Turner take over as his nurse and housekeeper?
Oh, Mary started working for him in March when he took real sick. That's when he made out his will, too. And Mary and Tim were the witnesses.
That's also about the time Louis Marino arrived in Vegas.
Well, yeah. Johnny.
No, let's not try to tie these things up until we have good reason to.
Well, you ask me.
Then it was back in April that Tim Hansen died.
Yes, sir.
And when did you see the will?
In May. That was the time I almost got killed.
What?
Oh, coming over the pass that night on the way back here, the steering on my car gave out.
Wait a minute. Did anyone examine it after that happened?
Well, I had it fixed, if that's what you mean.
No, that isn't what I mean.
What are you thinking of, Johnny?
Plenty, Buster. Red, where is that will now?
We're still with Lawyer Robbins, I guess.
Over in Kingman?
Yes, sir. He's the surrogate on it. And he lives right over his office on North Poplar.
Good. Then I'm going over there to see him.
You ask me, Mr. Dollar, you're wasting your time, but, well, here you are.
Last will and testament of Avery Charles Nicolette.
And it's all in order. Perfectly legal. I couldn't have dictated a better letter myself. The part that Red Barrett claims was added to is...
To my best and oldest friend, Lloyd Barrett, I bequeath the whole of my estate.
Right here.
With the exception of the proceeds from my life insurance policy, which are to go to Louis Marino of Las Vegas, Nevada.
You see? It's in his same hand.
Yeah, it looks to be.
It is. I even had Mr. Brinkerhoff down at the bank check the handwriting. Even the police brought in a handwriting expert.
Wait a minute.
What?
Have you got a magnifying glass, Mr. Robbins?
Oh, yeah, sure. Now, right here.
Thanks.
Now, listen, Mr. Dollar.
You listen, Mr. Robbins. I don't know whether this last part is in Avery Nicolette's hand or it's just a clever forgery. But if this has been tampered with...
And I tell you...
But I'll tell you this. I'm betting that the Louis Marino was put in after the will was signed and witnessed.
But in that case, the will wouldn't be... Well, what I mean is... Well, that is to say that...
Instead of trying to think of something to say, Mr. Robbins, I want you to call a meeting for me. Tomorrow morning, here in your office.
A meeting?
Where is Marino?
Oh, right here in Kingman, awaiting payment
Okay. I'll bring Red Barrett over from Lake Mojave myself, but you get hold of Marino and Mrs. Mary Turner.
Well, now, Mr. Dollar... now, wait.
Say 10 o'clock sharp, Mr. Robbins, okay?
Now, Mr. Dollar...
Okay, I'll see you then. As it turned out, I didn't go back and pick up Red after all. Oh, sure, I started to. Even got a few miles out on the highway. But I ended up by telephoning him from a room I'd taken at a motel right there in Kingman. As for my rental car, well, I don't want to sound dramatic, but what happened was this. About 2 or 3 miles out of town as I was driving along, a funny buzzing noise in the motor. And it stayed real constant even when I slowed down. Well, I've heard that noise before, so I decided to get as far away from that car as I could, but fast. And I ducked behind a mound of gravel there at the side of the road. Yeah. You know something? As the sordid parts and pieces came sailing down around me, I was kind of glad that I had got out of that car. I guess I had underestimated the Kingman, Arizona police. When I called them after having my car blown to bits, I learned from Sergeant Tommy Parker that they, too, had been suspicious of Avery Nicolette's will, and particularly of the main beneficiary, Louis Marino. First thing in the morning at police headquarters, Parker laid out the facts for me.
Well, it was the police up in Vegas who first ran a make on him, Dollar.
Why, Sergeant?
Because he'd gotten thrown out of a couple of gambling joints up there when he tried to get a job.
Before he worked in the garage?
Yeah. Well, the men who run those casinos are a pretty wise bunch. Somebody recognized him as Louis the Penman from Chicago.
Penman? A forger?
That's right, from one of the mobs. And just for luck, I started checking on this young housekeeper of Nicolette's, Mrs. Turner. Only her maiden name was Mary Polito.
Young, did you say?
Late 30s. Dark hair, dark complexion, real good looking. No wonder she had herself a flock of husbands.
Wait a minute. Don't tell me.
Yeah, Dollar. The last was an old man named Harry Turner. Died about a year ago in a car accident.
Car accident?
The one before was another old man, Lawrence Fulbright. Another car accident.
Same pattern.
But her first husband
was Louis Marino.
Right.
Well, mister, you've done yourself proud.
Maybe so, but unless we can somehow hold on to them. Which is to say, unless we can find something wrong with that will. And don't forget, the handwriting expert I called in said it's okay.
Sergeant, maybe that expert overlooked something.
Oh?
Come on. It's about time for the meeting at the lawyer's office. Wisely enough, Sergeant Parker decided to stick around outside while I went into the meeting. Present were Mr. Robbins, the lawyer, Red Barrett, Louis Marino. I couldn't blame Red for not liking his looks. And Mrs. Mary Turner. At the moment, Red had the floor.
And I tell you, I don't want the money. I'll give it to charity. But I don't want it going to somebody that Avery never even heard of.
What do you mean he never heard of me, you crazy old bum?
Because he would have told me. That's why. Because he told me everything.
Yeah?
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Barrett, but I'm sure I heard Mr. Nicolette mention Louis Marino many times. And when I saw his name in the will...
Somebody put it there after I saw it.
You're crazy.
All right, now, folks.
Listen, old man, if you think you can break this
Maybe I can, Louis.
Huh?
Who's this gentleman, Mr. Robbins?
This is Johnny Dollar, Mrs. Turner, investigator for the insurance company.
Well, good. Not that it makes any difference to me whether Mr. Marino gets that insurance money.
Oh, I think it does, Mrs. Turner. Mrs. Mary Polito Marino Fulbright Turner.
What?
Did you toss in a Marino somewhere along there, Johnny?
No, Mr. Dollar.
Listen here, Dollar.
Marino, it may be tough proving that you caused the death of the other witness to that will, poor old Tim Hanson.
It was a car accident. He was drunk. They found the bottle right beside him.
He never took a drink in his life. I suspect that bottle, if there was one, was planted in his car by the mechanic who tampered with the steering.
Who said?
And come to think of it, you are a mechanic, aren't you, Louis?
Sure I am, but that doesn't mean
and
a
it
thing.
might be hard to prove you planted that bomb in my car.
Now listen, Dollar.
You tampered with the steering on Red's and tried to kill him off after you realized he'd seen the original will. But sooner or later, I think these Kingman police will be able to pin these things on you. The only thing I have to prove, though, is that this will was tampered with. And I think I can.
Yeah? How?
No, I'm sorry, Mr. Dollar, but that will is exactly as it was in the beginning.
Mrs. Turner, did you actually see it written?
Mr. Hanson and I both saw him write it. Then Mr. Nicolette signed it, we signed it, and he folded it up and put it in the envelope.
Oh? This paper wasn't folded before?
No. It was some new stationery he just got himself.
You're sure?
Of course. Why do you ask a thing like that?
The paper has a coating on it, like most papers of this kind. Some of that coating cracks a little bit when it's folded. Takes a magnifying glass to see it.
So what?
So when something's written on it after it's been folded, the ink will spread a bit over the tiny cracks made in the coating.
What?
Yeah. Like it has on this part. That was added later to give the insurance to Louis Marino after Mrs. Turner found the will in the linen closet.
How do you know? No.
Added after the other witness died, after Red Barrett saw it. Take a look with your magnifying glass, Mr. Robbins.
Yes, I certainly shall.
So, Louis, despite your excellent copy of Avery Nicolette's handwriting, by writing yourself in over the fold in that paper, you pulled up boo-boo.
You're right, Mr. Dollar. Absolutely right.
Well, Mary, Louis?
All right, Dollar. You see this gun?
Yeah. Louis pulled a gun and started to make even more of a fool of himself. But then Sergeant Parker quietly walked in and took over. And you know something? I think that given time with Mary and Louis in the clink for this forgery, he'll probably pin those other things I mentioned on him. He's a good man. Expense account total, including the blown-up rental car, $3,280. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Star to tell you about next week's story.
Next week, a beautiful girl, a terrible storm, and a miracle. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, originates in Hollywood and is written, produced, and directed by Jack Johnstone. Heard in our cast were Virginia Gregg, Barney Phillips, Forrest Lewis, Harley Bear, Jack Boyle, Billy Hallop, and Byron Kane. Be sure to join us next week, same time and station, for another exciting story of yours truly, Johnny Dollar. This is Jim Matthews speaking.
From Hollywood, it's time now for
Johnny Dollar.
Oh, good.
Huh?
Johnny, this is Ben Pringle.
Ben, how are you? Still selling insurance for Star Mutual?
No, not anymore.
Oh, that's right. You were talking about retiring.
And I have retired. Yes, year ago I quit the insurance business and bought myself a poultry farm.
Well, good for you. Where is it, Ben?
It's right here in Vineland, New Jersey.
And how's it going?
Oh, terrible, Johnny. It's terrible.
Oh?
When I think of all the pretty chickens that I've lost.
Well, what seems to be the trouble?
Johnny, somebody's trying to put me out of business.
Well, I don't know who or why or how, but Ben, if I can be of any help to you.
You can, Johnny, you can. I was going to call Star Mutual because everything I have is insured pretty heavily, but first I thought I'd make sure that you're available.
For you, anytime.
Well, then come on down here, will you? In the meantime, I'll notify the company that you're on the way.
Just give me your address and I'll be on my way.
Bob Bailey in the exciting adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account. America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Now, Act One of yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to the Star Mutual Insurance Company, Home Office, New York, New York. Following is an account of expenses incurred during my investigation of the sick chick matter. Item 1, 1050, train fare and incidentals, Hartford to Philadelphia. There, to be sure of adequate transportation, I rented a car. That's item 2, $50 deposit. The 35-mile drive south on Route 47 was uneventful, and I finally turned left onto Vineland's main street, Landis Avenue. Vineland, the heart of sunny southern Jersey. At least that's what the sign said. It's a busy little city. Landis Avenue, a busy street. Finally, I stopped at a mobile gas station on the far edge of town to ask about the address Ben Pringle had given me.
Just keep going straight out Landis Avenue for about 5-6 miles till you come to East Vineland.
East Vineland, huh?
Yeah, then you turn right, go about a mile and a half. You can't miss it. If you can pick it out from the rest of the poultry farm.
A lot of them, huh?
Vineland's the egg basket of the world. Where do you suppose Philadelphia, New York, and the rest get all their eggs and chicken?
Yeah, well, I'd better get underway. Thanks a lot.
Anytime, mister.
The gas attendant was right. There were enough chicken ranches in the outlying sections to supply half a dozen cities. And trying to pick out the one belonging to Ben Pringle was a problem. Finally, to ask further directions, I pulled up at the nearest farmhouse.
Yeah? What do you want?
I'm looking for Mr. Ben Pringle's place.
Oh, Ben Pringle. He's right next door.
Oh.
Ah, the poor man.
Poor man?
Yes, he's coming down here from New York. He'll spend all his money, and what happens? He's going to lose his flock.
Doesn't know much about raising chickens, huh?
He don't know nothing. Joe, my old man, he's try to tell him when he come here. It's take more than the money to raise the chickens. So why don't he get out? Why don't he sell out before he spend all his money and lose everything?
You think that's what he ought to do, Mrs.
I'm Lucia Rinsulli. My older man, he's Joe Rinsulli. What's your name?
Johnny Dollar.
Well, then if you know him, you tell him. He's like all the rest.
How do you mean?
Oh, they make some money in the big city. They want to do what you call retire on it.
So?
So they're coming down here, buy a nice piece of farmland. We got a plenty nicer farmland here.
I can see that.
So they think all they need is some chicken houses, some chicken feed. And then all they got to do is collect the eggs. They'll make a lot of money.
But it's not that easy.
Huh. Ben Pringle, he's not listening to us anymore. He's going to lose his flock. He's going to have to sell out cheap. He's a lose his shirt.
And his farm goes to rack and roll.
Uh-huh. And that's when somebody else comes in. Somebody he don't know how to raise the chickens. They buy them up cheap.
Oh? Is that how you got this big place of yours?
Oh, sure. We started with a little place. We work hard. We make a little money. Then, when somebody like him comes along, we buy him out. We got a nicer, bigger place.
That sort of thing happened very often around here, Mrs. Renzulli?
Oh, sure, all of the time. You ask Tony Pasquale. Now, he's got a big farm.
You ask the Carmen Chanero. Same thing. You know Tommy Bernasconi?
No.
We asked him. Same thing. Same thing. What's the matter, huh?
Oh, I was just thinking, Mrs. Renzulli, it's pretty much to your advantage to see these people go broke, isn't it?
No, you're just the one man.
Frank, though, isn't it?
Look, I don't know who you are, what you want. What's your business?
My business is finding out why Ben Pringle's having trouble. Maybe who is causing it.
You get out of here. I don't like it the way you talk.
Sure.
I don't think I like you.
Yeah? Maybe you'll like me even less after I've talked to Ben Pringle. How about that?
Get out. By golly, I'm glad you could make it, Johnny. Yes, sir. Sit down.
Yeah. Well, from what I hear, Ben, you're having a pretty rough time of it.
Oh, I suppose it's my own fault, Johnny. Walking into a project like this without knowing more about it.
Well, how deep have you gone into this layout?
Oh, my, too deep, Johnny, too deep. All in all, I spent nearly $40,000. That's just about all I have. And most of us had to go for replacing my herd.
Herd?
Yeah, my herd of chickens.
Oh.
And I thought it'd be so easy, just buy a few hundred chickens.
Yeah, throw them some feed, collect the eggs, collect the money.
Yes, and I'd be fixed up for life. Oh, dear, there are more diseases a chicken can catch. There are more lice and bugs. Oh, and now this.
Hey, Ben, you said something about somebody's trying to put you out of business.
That's right, Johnny, and I'm sure of it. But why, I don't know. I didn't know I had an enemy in the world.
Oh, what's going wrong?
Well, just wait till you see my herd of chickens. And if you don't agree with me that... Oh, I'm sure you'll agree with me.
About what?
That they're being poisoned, that's what.
By whom?
I think I know. Oh, yes, sir.
Well?
By somebody who'd like to see me go broke.
So that he could buy you out cheap. Who, Ben?
I'll tell you who. Because he wants to add my property to his. And he's right next door. And his name is Joe Renzulli.
Act 2 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in a moment.
And now for another episode in the life of Sergeant Donald Bellwether, my husband.
Reba! Reba!
What is it, Donald?
Confounded Reba, I can't find the fountain pen. I've looked all through this desk.
Here it is, dear.
Here it is.
You must have used it as a marker when you were reading this book. Let's see, this great literary classic, Six-Gun Showdown at Powder River Gulch.
All right, never mind about my reading habits. Just look at the coverage we're going to get with this new auto accident policy.
Let's see. Yes, collision.
$50 deductible.
Fire, theft, public liability, property damage, medical benefits. In other words, we have complete coverage.
That's right. Of course, it's going to cost us money. I'm sending the company a check right now. Gee, it's too bad we don't live in Rhode Island.
Rhode Island? Why?
Oh, because then our rates would be lower. Rhode Island has less accidents per capita than any other state.
Oh. Well, which state has the highest?
Let me see. Here it is, Nevada. No, by golly, Nevada's second highest. Alaska has the most.
Really? I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too bad we can't eliminate traffic accidents completely. Not only would it save life and limb, but it'd be a lot less strain on the pocketbook.
Yeah, that's for sure. These automobile accident policies get more expensive every year, just because there's so many costly accidents.
Well, I'm glad we've got some good insurance coverage, Donald, but just remember one thing.
Oh, what's that, honey?
Well, some auto accidents ruin a fender, and some ruin a family.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
But as far as I'm concerned, I don't want any of your old insurance money. I want you here at home, safe and sound. You'll always drive carefully, won't you?
Yes, I will, dear.
Oh, that's my Donald. That's my doll.
And now, Act 2 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and the Sick Chick Matter.
Sure, it's
Joe Renzulli.
Trying to kill off your flock, put you out of business.
Yes, sir, Joe Renzulli, and I'm sure of it. But just wait till you see him. Johnny, I have got the sickest herd of chickens you ever saw.
Okay, Ben, let's take a look at them. Though I'm afraid I don't know much about the critters.
You don't have to. Anybody could tell. Just anybody. Come on.
Have you talked with a vet about them?
Sure I have. Finest vet in the county, too. Dr. Goldhaft. Why, he has a regular laboratory. He's known all over the world. He's the one that cured him with the cholera, and the hepatitis, and the synovitis, and the coccytitis, ptosis. Johnny, after I've called him in so many times, he even gave me a book.
A book?
Yes, he did. So that I'd know what all the diseases were, and, well, so I wouldn't have to make him drive all the way out here when I'd just forgotten to give the hens their land mash or enough water or something like that.
You'd forget to... Well, no wonder you've had trouble with your flock.
And I guess I was kind of a nuisance to him, too, but I did so want my herd to be a good one and lay a lot of eggs for me.
Well, what does the vet say about what ails them now?
Well, I haven't told him.
You haven't told him?
Well, see, I'm afraid I still owe him a pretty big bill.
Yeah, but look, Ben,
And I looked in the book. Johnny, and there's nothing in it about the way they are. There is not a word. And that's why I sent for you.
But, Ben, I told you, I don't know anything about them. Of course, if you're right, if they're being poisoned... Oh, let's take a look at it.
Yes. You'll see.
You got a nice-looking layout, I'll say that. Nice new houses for them. Big fenced-in yards, or whatever you call them. And there's plenty of room for them to... Oh!
Yes, sir. You see? They're all so sad-looking. They're just so sad and petulant, as though they hold it against me for whatever ails them. Those poor little things.
So help me, I've never seen it. Do chickens ever suffer from the blind staggers?
You mean the blind staggers? Would it mean like horses get? Oh, no, sir. No, I'm sure. Because it isn't in the book. And if it isn't in the book...
Ben, you're sure you haven't been spiking their drinking water with some of your private stock?
Oh, why, of course not, Johnny.
You know, you were my one insurance contact that always suggested the nip of that bottle you kept in your desk.
Oh, now, Johnny.
Boy, these chickens sure look... Hey, you said you feed them a laying mat.
It's right here in the shed. Here, come along. But, what are you thinking of?
Well, if any of that stuff should get good and wet and ferment.
Oh, no. It's as sweet and dry as the day I bought it from Jake Rubinoff. There. See that? You see what I mean?
Who's Jake Rubinoff?
He's the biggest feed dealer in town.
Yeah, certainly smells all right.
Yeah, it is all right. Oh, no, Sir Johnny. My herd has been poisoned.
And you suspect Joe Renzulli on the next farm?
Of course I do.
Wasn't he one of the people who tried to help you get started when you first came down
Oh,
here?
sure. Yes, he pretended to. But I can see now is just to look over my nice place and see how much he can get his hands on when I go broke.
Well, if you had some concrete reason for thinking he might be poisoning your flock...
I've seen him. Yes, I have. I've seen him with my own eyes. Come right over here at night, several times.
What?
And scatter something over the fence into my pens out of a big sack.
What was it?
Now, the time was daylight and I could see. The chickens had eaten it all up.
You sure it was Renzulli?
Of course I am.
Okay, Ben. I'm going over and talk with him. I went back to the farm next door. I found Joe Renzulli in one of his sheds. Tall, husky, and well-tanned. He was hard at work building some kind of an affair with a large wooden frame.
There. These are finished. Like I say, Mr. Dollar, you're keeping the chickens in a cage up off the ground. They're more healthy. You get them more fat. Bring a better price in the market. Yeah. How you like that, huh?
I asked you a question, Mr. Renzulli. I'd like an answer. Now.
All right, I tell you.
I think you better.
It's because I try to help the poor man without he's to find out. So I throw it over the fence at night when he's in O.C.
Throw what over the fence? Well?
Yeah. Move. It's a sock. There, you see? In this one.
XLNC Vitagrow supplement.
That's right. The vitamins.
Vitamins?
These are chickens. They're sick. He don't know what to do. He's a waste all his money. He's a nice fella, so I help him.
You sure that bag doesn't contain some kind of poison?
Poison?
Yeah.
No.
Where'd you get that stuff?
Jake Rubinoff feed store. What are you trying to accuse me of?
Nothing. Yet.
I'm going to try to help the poor man, that's all. You don't like that?
I want a sample of that stuff.
Sure. Take all you want. So what are you going to do?
Well, it's too late now, but in the morning I'm going to take it into town to the feed place and check on it.
You go ahead.
And believe me, if there's anything wrong with it, I'm coming back here with the police in tow.
Police?
You better talk, Renzulli.
You don't understand. You don't know. It's smaller place like this. You got to stay friends with everybody.
Huh?
You make trouble for people, it's no good.
What are you talking about?
Your neighbor is your friend.
Oh, sure. Just like you're a good friend of Ben Pringle.
Yeah, that is so.
But you're protecting somebody who's poisoning his chicken.
No, that's a big lie.
Then what's all this double talk? Why are you so afraid I'll bring the police out here?
Well, I'm not. I mean...
Or maybe you've done something you're afraid they'll tag you for. Is that it?
No, that is wrong.
Fact remains you know something about Ben Pringle's trouble with his flock.
I tell you.
You've told me nothing. Okay, I'll find out for myself.
Good. That is good. Huh? You no live here. You find out. That's all right. That's the good.
Find out what?
You find out. And that's all I could get out of him. And on the way back to Ben Pringle's farm, I suddenly began to wonder if I hadn't stepped into something more than just a bunch of sick chicks. You know something? As it turned out, I certainly had.
Act 3 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in a moment. Do you know who said, "Absolute freedom of the press to discuss public questions is a foundation stone of American liberty"? Those words were said by former President Herbert Hoover. Mr. Hoover was well aware of the important role that freedom of the press had played in the creation and growth of the United States of America. He realized that without freedom of the press, no democratic form of government could exist. One of the first steps in the path toward totalitarianism is the creation of a controlled press. A free press hampers the work of a potential dictator. When the press is free, the people of a country are free. When the press is not free, the people of a country are in danger of slavery. Remember the words of Herbert Hoover. They are part of your American heritage. Freedom of the press is a foundation stone of American liberty. And now, Act 3 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar and the Sick Chick Matter.
By the time I got back to Ben Pringle's place, he had spread something that passed for supper on the kitchen table.
Just help yourself there, Johnny. There's plenty more in the stove.
Yeah.
If I don't cook the best canned beans you ever eat.
Yeah.
Yes, aren't they delicious? Have some ketchup.
Hey, look, Ben, as I told you, I got nothing out of Joe Renzulli, except a powerful feeling that he's protecting one of your neighbors around here.
Well, you know how it is out in the country this way, Johnny. A man who tells on his neighbors, well, he's an outcast.
Hey, maybe that's why Renzulli didn't mind if I could find out what's going on here for myself.
I still think he's doing it. Yes, sir.
Whose place is that on the other side? I noticed a brand new Lincoln out front.
Oh, all right, yes. Well, he's a nice young man. Oh, he's real nice.
Yeah, what's his name?
John Culpepper. He came up here from the South. I can tell that by the way he talks.
Well, what's he do?
Oh, he just lives there, yes. He has some of the gayest parties, though. Young men, young women, all he wants to drink.
Oh, no wonder you like him. If you can scrounge drinks from him.
Oh, well, I have tried to drop one on him now and then, but he's always just shoved a bottle in my hand and told me to come back here and enjoy it by myself. And who am I to refuse a nice gesture like that?
That barn in back of this place. Horses? Cows?
Oh, no animals of any kind. It's a funny thing, though.
Yeah?
Well, I'm a very sound sleeper, you know, Johnny, but I'm sure that I've heard some big trucks pulling in there at night, and I've often wondered about it. But then I just went right back to sleep.
Ben, have you got a flashlight I can use?
Well, sure, Johnny, I have. I'll get it for you, too. Why? What are you going to do?
Let's, call it a little exploring. The night was warm, and some of Ben's chickens were still out in the yard. They were gathered by a section of the fence right next to the neighbor, Mr. Culpepper's barn. Then I noticed something else, a well-worn path from that barn to the fence. Funny. Quietly as possible, I climbed over the fence and worked my way to the barn. There was a light on somewhere inside of it. And then I caught it. A faint, piercing odor that I hadn't smelled, so help me, since I'd worked on a case down in the hillbilly country of Kentucky. I sneaked over to a crack in one of the barn doors. Inside, I could see cases and cases of bottles and the outline of a huge copper still. Moonshine.
Stand still, mister.
Huh?
Don't you move, sir. I'll blow your head off. Revenue, huh?
Revenue?
I've seen you poking around Renzulli's and Pringle's today, and I figured you might be dropping in. No, keep your hands up.
Oh, now look, Culpepper.
No, you look.
If you'll reach inside the pocket of my jacket, you'll find a card case that'll show you who and what I am.
You know, I might just do that now. But don't you try to think funny. Keep 'em right up over your head.
If you like this flashlight.
Don't move. There's enough light coming through the crack in this door. Now, you stand still while I...
Johnny Dollar. Insurance investigator?
That's right.
Well, then what are you doing here?
Culpepper, the only interest I have in your still is what it's doing to Ben Pringle's chickens.
What's that?
Yeah, and in getting this gun away.
No, I'll shoot you. No, you don't. Look, I'll make a deal with you. Say a couple of $1,000s to keep your mouth shut about my still.
I told you I don't care about your still.
Then I don't get it.
That's out of my bailiwick. All I care about it... Wait a minute. You make whiskey out of mash. Have you been dumping sour mash over Pringle's fence?
Oh, sure, to destroy the evidence.
Holy smoke. Then all that's wrong with Ben's chickens is that they're drunk. Boiled to the gills.
You mean to say that old used...
Yeah, I mean to say. Now, come on. I think you and Ben had better have a little talk. So they talked, Ben and Culpepper. In exchange for not being reported, Culpepper agreed to pay my expense account, Ben's veterinary bills, and to move out of the county. Oh, I suppose I should have notified the local authorities of what was going on. But isn't that really a job for the company? After all, like I said, it is out of my bailiwick. Hey, you know something? The stuff Culpepper was turning out in that old barn wasn't half bad. Expense account total to the company, nothing. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, originates in Hollywood and is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone, who also wrote today's story. Heard in our cast were Lucille Meredith, Howard McNear, Gil Stratton, Jack Moyles, and Sam Edwards. Be sure to join us next week, same time and station, for another exciting story of yours truly, Johnny Dollar. This is Dan Cubberly speaking.
Johnny Dollar has been a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
Bing Crosby has been on his summer holiday, but beginning October 3rd, Bing and his crew will return to this, their regular time. So join in the fun with Bing Crosby at this time next Wednesday, October 3rd. From Hollywood, it's time now for Edmund O'Brien as...
Johnny Dollar.
Philip Martin, Johnny.
Fine, what have you got for me?
Mr. Benny Waxman's insured with Columbia.
When did he die and what's wrong with the way he did it?
He's very much alive and his business isn't. He owns delicatessens. We insure that too. It's burned out.
When did it happen?
Last night. We don't know whether Waxman did it himself, but the fire department said it was started deliberately.
Police holding Waxman?
Not yet. No evidence. Better get down here and I'll give you everything we've got.
I'm yours after a shave and a shower.
Edmund O'Brien in a transcribed adventure of the man with the action-packed expense account. America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Home Office, Columbia All Risk Insurance Company, Hartford, Connecticut. The following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the protection matter. Expense account item 1, 3256, train fare and incidentals between Hartford and New York City after I received from you the necessary information concerning Benny Waxman. I arrived in New York at 3:30 in the afternoon and made my way through a heavy rain to 1078 East 105th, where I found Benny Waxman in a small apartment. Lieutenant Parkinson of the 15th Precinct was there also.
Yeah, Mr. Waxman's in. What do you want him for?
Johnny Dollar, I represent Columbia All Risk.
Insurance?
On Waxman's store.
Who is it?
Guy named Dollar from the insurance company. Come on in, Dollar.
The insurance company?
Yeah, you know, the reason you started the fire.
I had nothing to do with it. I keep telling you.
Over and over he keeps telling me, and over I keep telling him he's a liar.
A liar I'm not.
My name's Johnny Dollar, Mr. Waxman.
How do you do?
We can't pin it on him yet. Some kind of a bomb.
I ain't got no store anymore.
Yeah, sure he ain't. Like the stuff they used in the war. Not a big explosion. Nobody heard an explosion. But when it went off, it burned good.
Incendiary?
Yeah. Don't know how he got it, but we'll trace it.
Incendiary? Of course you don't know how I got it. I didn't get it.
How much was the place insured?
$20,000.
You're not going to get it, Waxman.
Look, Lieutenant, I don't care no more. I don't care. Do you hear me?
You will. I'll make you care.
I didn't start it.
There was a man killed in that fire.
What?
I didn't start it. I didn't kill nobody. I wouldn't.
People lived over the store, 3 apartments. An old man didn't get out. Your company won't have to pay a red cent, Dollar, because I'm going to prove Waxman started it.
Why would I burn down my store? I make a good living.
Tell Mr. Dollar how much money you've got in the bank. You hear me, Waxman?
$600.
That's not much for a guy who makes a good living, is it, Mr. Dollar?
I told you a dozen times.
He told me he gave $5,000 to his daughter.
It's the truth.
You checked the daughter?
That's a little tough. We can't find her. Used to live here with her papa, but she's just disappeared, and Papa doesn't know where she went. Do you, Papa?
She went on a trip, Mr. Dollar.
A vacation?
Yeah, I gave her the $5,000 for a vacation.
And he doesn't have any idea where she...
I don't know where she went.
He just gave her $5,000 for a little vacation. It broke him, but his daughter needed a little vacation.
Don't care anymore. I tell you, I don't care. Mr. Dollar, tell your company I don't want the insurance money.
You don't get out that easy.
I don't want out for nothing.
Look, you're on a spot. You figured it was a cinch. So many guys like you, Waxman, figure it's a cinch and forget about guys like me. I want you for a fire and a killing, and I'm going to get you.
I'll say it forever. I did not do it. I'll say it till they take me to my grave.
That doesn't give you much time. Well, I've got to be going.
I'd like to look at that report, Lieutenant.
Yeah, sure. Come along.
No, I'll check with you later. I want to talk to Waxman.
Sure, 15th Precinct. I'll be around until they find out where he got that bomb.
Right.
You're loose till I get something, Waxman, but do me a favor, huh?
What is it?
Try and leave town. I'd love it. See you later.
Yeah.
Mr. Dollar, go back and tell your company to forget it. I don't want the insurance money.
If you didn't have anything to do with the fire, you're entitled to it.
I'm going to leave this town when I can. Open a business somewhere else. Another city if I'm lucky.
If you're not guilty, why not take the money?
Because I cannot prove I am innocent.
What are you afraid of?
What?
I said, what are you afraid of? It's pretty obvious you're afraid of something.
I'm not afraid. I'm nervous. Policemen, the fire, and everything.
That $5,000 for a vacation is pretty weak.
Oh, please, Mr. Dollar, I let your company out of all the claims. They don't have to pay me nothing. Now, please, don't ask me any more questions.
That cop's out to get you.
Look, the law I believe in. If they convict me of something I did not do, then perhaps it is in payment for something I did to break the law.
What?
I can't explain. Now, please, Mr. Dollar.
Okay. Look, Mr. Waxman.
Good day, Mr. Dollar.
I hadn't noticed. I left the building and went out on the street. The rain was coming down harder, so I turned up my collar and started to walk. I couldn't stop thinking about Benny Waxman and this crazy, mixed-up story. A guy who burns down his store with an incendiary bomb is smart enough to have a better story. The $5,000 he'd given his daughter for a vacation, that was wrong. Making himself look guilty by telling me to forget the claim, that was wrong. He was scared, not of Parkinson or me, but of something that was mixing up his reason. Maybe I was wrong, too, but I was going to find out. The 15th Precinct was on Madison. Lieutenant Parkinson was in his office.
Hello, Dollar. You look wet.
I walked.
I'll take off your coat.
Thanks.
Well, sit down.
Thank you.
Did you have a talk with Waxman?
Nothing I couldn't tell you in 5 seconds.
Yeah? What do you think?
I'm surprised.
And what?
I didn't come here to insult him.
You think he's innocent?
I think there's a lot more to it than just a fire and a killing.
Isn't there always?
I think he's scared stiff.
So do I.
A guy who starts a fire...
Has a better alibi. You want some coffee?
Yeah, sounds good.
That should be. My wife gave me the electric pot so I could have my coffee on duty. Says I drink too much of it, but she gave it to me anyway. Here you are. Waxman didn't start that fire. Is that strong enough?
Tastes pretty good.
Guys who burn down their business do it 2 or 3 different ways.
Not with an incendiary bomb.
I've got to ride him. I tried to be nice to him, tried to get it out of him, but he's too scared.
Of what?
Well, now I have to guess. There's a protection racket here that covers every independent store in the city. It's the tightest, best controlled organization I've run up against. So tight that we've been trying to break it for a year. 2 other stores have gone up this way, but the owners are so scared they won't say a thing.
Scared for their families?
It's the best thing to be scared for.
Waxman's daughter.
Yeah. I don't know how she fits. I don't know how the $5,000 fits.
What do you expect to gain by making him look guilty?
Long shot. He won't say anything, but maybe one of his friends will. Maybe they'll say something.
If they've been scared this long,
He's got one friend, a very close one, Angelino Giuseppe.
Business?
Yeah, delicatessen like Waxman. Angelino hasn't got a family, but he got beat up last year. Wouldn't make a complaint. He's scared, too. But he's only got himself to worry about. Maybe if he thinks his best friend is in line for a murder rap, he'll give us something to go on.
Why don't you arrest Waxman? Make it look like he's really in trouble.
Yeah, I'll do that when I have to. I think his daughter is mixed up in it some way. Most of her clothes are still in the apartment. Maybe Waxman will be contacted. I want to be around when he is.
Kidnapping?
I don't know, darling. But a gang that can put this much fear into people might do anything. Waxman's been beat up a couple of times himself. Never pressed charges, but he's been pretty indignant. From what I can find out about him, he's not the type to pay for protection. Became a citizen 2 years ago and believes in what he had to learn to become a citizen.
Well, maybe the $5,000 went to the gang.
Yeah, it's possible. His daughter only got in town a month ago. Before, they could only work him over. With the daughter here...
But if he paid them the $5,000, why burn down his store?
I've only been guessing. I haven't got the answers. Oh, excuse me. Parkinson. Yeah. Yeah, I know you. Okay. How do you like that?
What?
It paid off. That was Angelino Giuseppe. He wants to see me.
Great.
Now, you want to come along?
Yeah, sure. Hey, you make pretty good coffee, Lieutenant.
I get lucky sometimes.
We left the precinct and grabbed a cab. Parkinson didn't want an official car in case somebody should be watching Angelino. We cut across town, and 20 minutes later, we were walking through the front door of Angelino's delicatessen. A small, broad little man with a bald head moved around the counter and walked up to see us.
Hello, Lieutenant.
Hello, Angie.
New man?
Johnny Dollar, insurance investigator.
Mr. Dollar?
Hello, Mr. Giuseppe.
What you want to see me for, Angie?
Well, it's about Benny.
Oh, what about Benny?
You're gonna arrest him?
That's right.
You think he burned down his own store?
I know he did.
What about you, Mr. Dollar? Do you think Benny burned down his store and killed that man upstairs?
I've seen the evidence, Mr. Giuseppe. I think so.
You'll bring me all the way over to ask me that, Angie?
No, Lieutenant. Look, if I tell you something that maybe shows you that Benny don't burn down his store...
What?
Well, it's maybe going to make a lot of trouble for a lot of nice people.
They'll get protection.
I could get killed.
Not while I'm around, Angie.
Well,
Come on, Angie. If you got something, give it to me. I was on my way over to pick up Benny. Now, if you've got anything that can save him, let's have it.
well, I can't prove that Benny did not burn down his place, but I think I can tell you who did.
Who?
Them guys. Them guys who come around once a week and collect the dough.
Tell me about them.
Well, you remember when I got beat up last year?
Yeah.
Them guys have done it. They make us all pay them protection. And if we don't, we get beat up or our families...
Who are they, Angie?
Well, I don't know their names.
What's the matter?
You better get out.
Two guys crossing the street.
Yeah, that's them. You better get out. They got the guns.
Those are the guys who beat you up?
Yes, the police. So look, you better get out.
All right, now listen to me, Angie. Act like we're customers.
But they got the guns.
Do what I tell you. Dollar.
I'm all right.
Okay, here they come. Now try to act like nothing's wrong, Angie.
Okay. I try, only...
And give me about 8 slices of the Swiss there, will you?
All right.
Angie.
Oh, yeah, I'll be right with you.
There's the envelope. We don't want no cold cut.
Hello, Red.
Stop! Look out! Oh, no.
Parkinson.
What about Angie?
I told you.
Shut up. Get an ambulance.
Ambulance?
The phone, you idiot. Step on it. Come on.
All right.
How is it? Is it bad? Parkinson, is it bad?
I can't feel much. Must be.
Let me look.
What about the two?
Hello. They've had it.
Give me an ambulance.
Listen.
Hurry up.
One with red hair.
Yeah?
Name's Dillon. He used to work for Dutch Fisher.
Hello.
Dutch Fisher.
Listen, I got
Help
to have
send
an
him
ambulance.
up.
87
He isn't a...
95th Street.
And
Yes.
Yeah?
87 95th.
got to get
Hurry up.
whoever
No. It was a
sent
Parkinson.
The ambulance is he...
Yeah. It sure is.
We'll return you to yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in just a moment. Beginning next week, listen for Edmund O'Brien as yours truly, Johnny Dollar, Saturday nights on most of these stations. At this time, next Wednesday, the great Bing Crosby Show returns to most of these same stations, with Jane Wyman as Bing's first guest of the season. Another premiere next Wednesday, The Red Skelton Show will also be back on CBS Radio. Remember, starting a week from tonight, Bing Crosby returns to his usual time, and Red Skelton moves his lunacies to Wednesday on CBS Radio. Now, with our star Edmund O'Brien, we bring you the second act of yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
It was still raining when they carried the lieutenant out. I explained everything to a nice young cop named Brenner's. Angelino and I got into Brenner's car, headed for the 15th precinct.
How long had you known Parkinson?
I just met him a few hours ago.
Yeah, we've been trying to crack this protection racket for a year. Looks like maybe we've started.
The hard way.
Yeah. I'll need your statement, Tom.
Sure.
I'm scared. I'm really scared.
Nothing to worry about, Mr. Giuseppe. We'll give you all the protection.
Protection?
Yeah, I guarantee it.
For me?
Sure.
Well, what about all the other people? All of my friends? What about Benny?
Parkinson didn't think Benny started that fire.
I know. I was assigned to check on the bomb.
Now, why do you think we ain't said nothing before, huh? Because they threaten us. They threaten my friends. They tell them if they say anything, they're going to hurt their families.
What about the bomb?
Nothing. Didn't have much to go on in the first place.
You lied. The lieutenant lied. He told me Benny wasn't going to be arrested. That's why I was going to tell him about those guys that beat me up.
Somebody had to talk, Andy.
Oh, sure. I talk, and look what happened. What do you think is going to happen to Benny now because I talked, huh? They got his dog. I ain't going to tell you nothing more.
What about Benny's daughter, Angie?
No. I ain't going to get to nobody in no more trouble.
The trouble's happened, Angie.
Well, I don't care.
If they're going to make it tough on Benny, they'll do it now.
Just because I called the lieutenant. Just because I want to help Benny.
The only way you can help Benny now is to tell us what you know.
No. There are too many other people. My friends.
Yeah, and we can save them. Tell us what you know, and we'll get the people who make the trouble.
No.
Okay. When they drag Benny's daughter out of the river, I hope you think about it.
Oh, you think I want it? You think I want to see Benny's little girl? Look, I got a thing about all the oil.
Listen. You think this won't happen again if we don't get the men behind this?
I don't know.
Look, Angie, you got beat up last year. Benny got beat up twice. Stores have been ruined. Benny's place was bombed and an old man burned to death upstairs.
Well,
Parkinson and 2 killers are on their way to the morgue. Every one of you kept your mouths shut for a year, and look what's happened. You think it's going to get better?
Okay.
What about Benny's mother?
They got her.
Who?
I don't know. The only ones I ever saw were the 2 guys who got killed a little while ago. Benny came over to my place one night. He was in an awful condition. He was crying. He said he had to tell somebody. They got his Louisa.
Did he say why they got her?
Benny hated them. He didn't ever pay them any money, so they beat him up twice, but he still didn't pay them. He said they didn't have no right, but he wouldn't go to the police because he was scared for me and my friends. Then Louisa came here from Detroit to Michigan, and they took her and made him pay $5,000 to get her back.
Why did they burn down his store?
To teach the rest of us a lesson. Those 2 guys who were killed, that's what they said. They said if I didn't pay them every week, that would happen to me and anybody else that didn't pay them.
Did they send Benny's daughter back to him?
Tonight they were supposed to send her back to him. Will they? Do you think that they will now?
I don't know. We drove our way over the wet pavements that reflected the sun as it sank into the river behind us. At the precinct, Brenner's got our statements and took me down to the mug file to look at pictures of Red Dillon and his partner.
That's Dillon.
1, 2, 3. 6 arrests, 2 convictions, 1 in this state.
Kansas City import?
Yeah, most of the arrests that city. That boy.
I don't know anything about the other guy. I think he's new.
When will you get a report?
That shouldn't be long.
Parkinson said Dillon used to work for Dutch Fisher.
Yeah. Here's Fisher's package.
He's still doing time.
Yeah. Convicted June 1943. Sentenced to state prison July same year. 10 to 20. Armed robbery.
Let's him out.
Branners. Yeah. Blue Flashman? Oh, okay. FBI kickback, Thanks. That's the other one.
Lou Fleischman. That name's on Fisher's card.
Yeah?
Convicted with Lou Fleischman.
Wait a minute. I remember that rat Fisher got sent up on his big payroll job. Here it is. Lou Fleischman. Convicted 1943, 5 to 10. Released July 26, 1951. No wonder I thought he was a new boy.
Looks like the gang stuck together.
There was somebody else in that holdup. Had an alibi, if I remember. Never pinned it on him.
Might be our boy.
I can't remember him.
It should be easy to check.
Yeah, let's find out.
It was beginning to fit. The 2 strong-arm boys had worked together in Kansas City for a man named Dutch Fisher, who was still doing time, and there was a 4th member of the gang still unaccounted for. In a half hour, Brenner's had the information.
His name's Biolotti. I remember now. George Biolotti.
We took the information down to the mug file and dug out the package on George Biolotti, the 4th member of the Dutch Fisher gang. Brenner's took one look at his picture, and his mouth fell open.
Well, I'll be...
What's wrong?
George Biolotti.
What about him?
He's in this city. I know him.
Well, let's go talk to him.
No.
Now, look. Benny's daughter is still missing. That remark I made about the river could become a fact.
George Biolotti is George Bivens. That's the name I know him by. Came to this town about 7 years ago. Runs a respectable nightclub.
Then pick him up.
On what?
Suspicion.
He's clean in this town.
Well, you've certainly got enough in this record to have a talk to him. There isn't much time.
If we pick him up, that girl won't live 5 minutes.
Yeah. Where's his nightclub?
52nd Street, the Yellow Parrot. Why?
Well, somebody's got to talk to him. And in your official capacity, you'd never get the answers you wanted.
What makes you think he'll give them to you?
Because I kind of liked Lieutenant Parkinson.
Yeah, something you want?
Yeah, George Bivens.
Got an appointment?
No?
Who are you?
Johnny Dollar. Now tell Bivens I want to see him.
Sorry, you gotta have an appointment.
I'm going to spoil if I stand around much longer.
Spoil rotten for all I care. You ain't gonna see Bivens.
You get excited like this all the time?
Yeah.
You'll ruin your stomach.
I don't think so.
You don't? Skeptic? Hey, you at the piano. Which way do I go to find Bivens? Thanks.
Who are you?
Name's Dollar.
What do you want? How'd you get by Ziggy?
He's tied up with a stomach ache.
Oh?
Swallowed a fist.
Okay, you get rough. What else do you do?
Find out things? Cop? I'll make this quick, Bivens, because I have to. Red Dillon and Lou Fleischman are pretty dead.
Yeah? Who are they?
You worked with them in Kansas City in 43.
I did? I forget.
Dillon, Fleischman, and Fisher. Together you pulled a fancy payroll robbery.
The law didn't think so.
Lieutenant Parkinson was shot to death by Dillon.
Is that all?
Not quite.
Well, get it off your chest. I'm busy.
Dillon and Fleischman were working a protection racket.
Look,
They were just the collectors.
I've had about enough of this. I'm going to throw you out.
That's just what I want. Now get up.
What do you think you're doing?
I'm going to show you. You got Benny Waxman's daughter.
What are you talking about?
Sue me if I made a mistake. You've got his daughter.
You're crazy, like. Why, you...
Your two boys killed Parkinson and burned down Benny's store.
I don't know what you know.
Stand up.
You busted my nose.
You've been beating up a lot of nice little people for a year now. That nose is just a down payment.
If you think you can bust in here and go...
You know, you keep falling down. You better sit in a chair. Now listen to me, Bevins. I'm in a nasty mood. Besides all the other people getting pushed around, your boys tried for me, too.
You're crazy.
I'm behind schedule. The cops can't book you, and I'm not going to let you kill that girl to save your dirty neck. Now, where is she?
I don't know where she is.
Please believe me, Bivens.
Dollar. Look, I got friends. They'll take care of you.
Who's going to tell them to do it?
I am.
With your mouth swollen shut? Come on, Bivens. Where is she?
I don't know.
Where? Where?
Warehouse. 14th Street Dock.
What warehouse? All right.
No. Rogers and Sons. Big sign on the top.
Police department, please. Don't you know it's not polite to listen, Bivens?
What do you want me to do?
Go to sleep. I gave Sergeant Brenners what I had, and he told me he'd meet me at the warehouse. But in the meantime, he'd sent over for Bivens. He was as good as his word, for in less than 3 minutes, radio patrolmen were taking charge of Bivens and his entourage. The place looked like a police lineup when I left and headed for the warehouse. It was getting late when my cab pulled up near the river, and a cold wind was moving in from the Atlantic. Brenners got there a few minutes later, and he staked out his men.
If the girl isn't there, I'd hate to go in the front door.
Let's go in a window. I'm a second story man at heart anyway.
How'd you ever get Bivens to talk?
He'll tell you about it. He's bound to.
He'd make a lousy cop.
Brenners gave his men orders, then we went looking for a weak window. We found one in the back, crawled through, and dropped down on the dark, cold pavement inside the warehouse. I could hear a radio from somewhere towards the front of the building, so we picked our way along the wall until we found a flight of stairs and climbed up to the main floor. We opened the door and listened.
Hey, you getting cold?
Yeah.
I wish Bivens would call and tell us what to do with this dame.
We kept going, moving as quietly as possible until we saw them. 2 men sitting in a small storeroom. The door was open. We could see the girl, tied and gagged. It wasn't going to be easy.
There's an understatement. How do we get them away from the girl?
Make a noise. Bring them out to see what it is.
Okay. We better separate.
You get on that side so we get them between us. I want to shoot into that office.
Right.
Give it about 10 seconds and then push one of those crates over.
I'm getting hungry, too.
Now, relax. Hey.
What?
You hear something?
Look who's telling who to relax. I didn't hear nothing.
I'm getting the jumps. We've been in this dump for 3 days now. What was that? You gonna tell me I'm hearing things now?
Somebody's out there.
Yeah, kill a light.
What do we do?
Shut up.
With this dang kidnapping, that's...
Shut up. Yeah, maybe it's nothing. Maybe a cat or a rat or something, huh?
Let's get out of here. Let's forget the dam and get
I
out.
told you to keep your face shut. Now, come on, let's see what it was.
Maybe it's the cops.
Something was wrong. Bivens would have called, wouldn't he?
Or maybe he couldn't. Maybe they got him.
Ah, nuts. Come on.
I don't see nothing. It's too dark.
And there's the crate.
Drop 'em, boys. Guns!
This one's dead.
Yeah, the other one's on his way.
Well, let's go get the girl. Benny's worried enough. We took Benny's daughter back to her father, and he confirmed the story that Angie had told us. Angie was sent home, and the last I heard, the store owners who had been paying protection to Bivens were planning the biggest block party since the Boston tea caper. Expense account item 2, $20.80 for 2 dinners. Brenner's was nearly as hungry as I was. Item 3, $16, flowers for Lieutenant Parkinson's funeral. And item 4, same as item 1, fare and incidentals between New York and Hartford. Expense account total, $101.92. And the next time you send me out on a simple little insurance fire, make sure it's really simple. I don't mind helping people out occasionally, but I'm too old and too underpaid to go back to being a Boy Scout. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, stars Edmund O'Brien in the title role and was written by Blake Edwards with music by Eddie Dunstetter. Edmund O'Brien can now be seen starring in the Paramount Pictures production Warpath. Featured in tonight's cast were Joel Samuels, Bill Conrad, Sidney Miller, Jay Novello, and Ray Hartman. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, is transcribed in Hollywood by Jaime Del Valle. Beginning next week, October 6th, Johnny Dollar will be heard on Saturdays at a new time. This is Dan Cumberly inviting you to be with us on Saturday, October 6th, when Edmund O'Brien returns as...
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Our country needs the help of every citizen. Defense bonds provide that help. They help to make America strong financially. They help to curb inflation. They make the individual family more secure. Defense bonds strengthen the military front, the production front, and the economic front. And just as important, buying United States defense bonds helps you by providing you with a safe, sound, profitable investment. Don't forget, defense is your job, too. Buy United States defense bonds today. Strike a blow for freedom. Join the crusade for freedom to get the truth to people behind the Iron Curtain. As long as they're kept in ignorance, the 10th world situation may not improve. Support the crusade for freedom with funds for freedom. Stay tuned now for the Virgil Akins-Freddie Dawson fight, which follows immediately over most of these same stations.
CBS, B for the best. F, yes, yes, yes. The star's address is CBS.
Remember, Wednesday night is Bing Crosby night on the CBS Radio Network.
It's time now for Edmund O'Brien as...
Johnny Dollar.
Hello, Dollar. This is Carter down at Tri-State Insurance.
Yeah, I've heard of it. How are you, Bill?
Fair. Listen, we have a vice president down here who has an idiot cousin selling insurance for us in New York City. Well, he's done it again.
Did you call me for advice or sympathy?
He just sold a $15,000 policy covering a pair of antique pistols for the trip from here to a buyer in Boston.
Well, some of those old weapons are worth it.
Well, these must be. That's why I want you to see that they get there. According to this Leonard Bonney, who brought the pistols this far from England, somebody tried twice to steal them. That we learned after he bought the policy. Will you take the job?
Okay, Bill. And when can I talk to this Bonnie?
He's at the doctor's, but he'll be back in my office in an hour.
Doctor's?
Yeah. The last time the thugs jumped him, they put a knife through his arm.
Edmund O'Brien in a transcribed adventure of the man with the action-packed expense account. America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Home Office Tri-State Insurance Company, Hartford, Connecticut. Attention, William Carter. The following is an accounting of my expenditures during assignment on the Queen Anne pistol matter. Expense account item 1, $1.75 cab fare from my apartment to your office, where I was introduced to Leonard Bonney, a tallish, badly proportioned man whose pasty complexion was just a shade darker than the sling that supported his left arm.
Well, it's a pleasure, Mr. Dollar, a pleasure.
Thanks. You've had a pretty rough go of it.
That's right. And it's the truth that I'm glad to see somebody else taking the responsibility.
You might tell Mr. Dollar about these attacks on you.
Oh, yeah, I'll be happy to, Mr. Carter. The first time was in Liverpool before I boarded ship to come across. They came out from between two buildings near the wharf, 3 of them. They handed me a whack on the bean, and that's the truth. And before they could lay another hand on me, I raced off.
Did you have the pistols with you?
Oh, no. And I didn't have them in New York when another gang attacked me. They almost killed me with that knife.
The pistols are here, Dollar. Would you like to see them?
Yeah, I would.
Here, I'll open the case.
The box he opened was leather-bound and satin-lined. 2 pistols nestled in it, graceful flintlocks with 10-inch forged barrels upon which were engraved a coronet and a name so faint that I couldn't make it out.
They're from the 18th century. They're worth £10,000 as a collector's item.
Where do they go?
Oh, to an antique gun shop at 272 Medford Street in Boston. The proprietor's name is Arthur Worthing. He's a British chap. He wears spectacles. You'll recognize him.
Will you be coming with me?
Me? I don't think. No, I've had enough. I'll stay here and wait word from Mr. Carter that the pistols have got there safe. Oh, no, I've had enough.
The rest of the rundown was given to me before I left the office. Leonard Bonney had been hired as a messenger by the seller in London, who had explained the value of the guns, but had not mentioned any potential danger of attempted theft. With that information and the pistol case tucked into a corner of my luggage, I made arrangements to leave. Expense account item 2, $9.75 airfare and incidental expenses between Hartford and Boston. The address on Medford Street that Bonney had given to me was on the fringe of the retail district. There was a sign, and there were a few dusty weapons in the window.
Good day, sir.
Hello, you Arthur Worthing?
Yes, I am.
My name's Dollar. I've been hired by the Tri-State...
Mr. Bonney telegraphed me to expect you. The package, sir. I see you have the package.
Yeah, I have it.
This is a day I have long anticipated, sir. There. 2 masterpieces from the shop of James Freeman, Norwich, circa 1705. Sir, are you a fancier of arms?
Nothing antique.
Oh, that's a pity, sir, a pity. Fascinating study. These pistols have quite a remarkable history. Fashioned during Queen Anne's reign and gave service during one of Europe's blackest eras.
Yeah, they're pretty. But I like mine with less history and more shocking power.
As might be supposed, sir, the English gunsmiths prospered during those stirring times, profiting by the constant demands for muskets and pistols to supply the good Queen's armies in Flanders.
Ah, is that right? Well, I have a paper for you to
These
sign.
weapons, sir, rode through the campaigns at the belt of an officer raised near Norwich. And if the truth were known, sir, more than one murder has been committed not only by them, but because of them. Tell me, sir, were you followed?
Not that I know of. Now, if I could get your signature on this release, I
Just a moment, young man. I believe that the assurance policy purchased by Mr. Bonney is in effect until the pistols rest in the possession of the purchaser. Is that not correct?
You're not the buyer?
Well, unfortunately, sir, a price of $20,000 is a great deal too dear for me.
Well, who is it then and where?
A Mr. and Mrs. Jack Rollins' bride.
Bride. Okay. Address?
Yes, I'll jot it down for you. Just a moment. 8 Victoria Drive. There you are. It's a large restaurant on the left flank as you approach it from the east.
I think I can find it.
Now, give the Pistol's Bride and tell them that either Mr. Bonney or myself will contact them at the earliest opportunity.
All right, I'll get back to you by phone.
Good afternoon, sir.
I have a package to deliver to either Mr. or Mrs. Bride. Are they at home?
Yes, sir. I'll take it to them.
Well, my instructions are to give it to them personally.
Who is it, Dean?
A gentleman with a parcel for you, madam.
A parcel?
My name is Dollar. Are you Mrs. Bride?
Yes.
Well, here are your pistols for Mr. Worthing.
But come in. Mr. Worthing, I don't understand.
Well, maybe your husband knows about it.
Yes, perhaps then. Oh! Oh, no!
Madam!
What's the matter?
You can't. You can't.
What's the matter, Mrs. Bride?
Estelle! Oh, heavens, Estelle, what's the trouble? Who is this man? What's it? Oh. Take Mrs. Bride to her room, Dean.
No, Jack. I want to know. What does it mean, Jack? What does it mean?
Be quiet, Estelle. I'll take care of this.
Come along, Mrs. Bride. I'll help you to your room and get you a bromide.
Now, what do you want?
No, I don't want anything but your signature on this paper, acknowledging your receipt of the pistols described therein.
You'll get no signature from me. Here, let me see that.
Hey, watch it, will you?
Leonard Bonney. He's here in America.
That's what he said his name was. I brought the pistols from Hartford to a man named Arthur Worthing. He sent me to you.
Who's Arthur Worthing?
I took it that you knew one another. He's a dealer in antique weapons.
Yes, of course. Get out of here. Take this fake form and take your pistols. Go back to your Mr. Worthing. Your bluff won't work.
Now, listen to me.
I don't believe that Bonney is here. I don't think he's still alive. Now, get out of here!
I didn't bother to argue with him because, as far as I could see then, he was either terrified, crazy, or both. With the pistols, I took the shortest route back to Arthur Worthing's gun shop on Medford Street. I should have saved myself the anger I'd built up to let go at Worthing. The place was not only locked, it was empty of antique weapons. And Arthur Worthing's sign had been replaced in the window by another which read, Office or Store for Rent. Inquire number 13 Groves Building. I decided not to. Expense account item 3, 70 cents, day letter to Tri-State reporting my lack of progress. And expense account item 4, same as item 2, transportation back to Hartford. My phone was ringing when I unlocked the door of my apartment at 10 that night. Johnny Dollar.
Bill Carter, Johnny. Did I interrupt something?
Yeah, I just got in. Just came through the door.
That's crazy business in Boston. What do you make of it?
Well, the man called it blackmail, so I guess that's what it is. But what reason there was for using me, I don't get. Unless they figured Bride would get violent.
I've been trying to reach that Bonnie. You left a phone number.
Huh. What'd you get, the city pound?
No, some woman with an accent so thick we can't understand each
Well,
other.
forget it. Bonnie just made it up. He was lying in his teeth about everything.
Do you have the pistols?
Yeah, but not for long. I'm bringing them down to your vault in the morning.
Good. Stop by my office. Aren't you curious about this thing?
No, not even intrigued. I don't want any part of it. That was only half true. I didn't want any part of it, but I was intrigued. Later, after a shower and over a highball, I took the pistols out of their case and looked them over. Except for the possibility that they were the tools of blackmail, I could find nothing to make them worth $20,000. But under a strong light, I did make out the name engraved on the barrel that I hadn't been able to read before. It was Bride, as in Mr. and Mrs. Jack Rowland's Bride. And the date behind it was 1704. I wondered what there was about something out of the 18th century that could send a 20th century woman into hysterics. The next day, I saw the pistols put under lock and key, started to work on another case, and tried to forget the whole thing. But I was reminded of it again by the caller who was waiting for me in the corridor outside my apartment that night. The bride's butler.
I hope you'll pardon my intrusion, sir. You must know why I've come.
Well, I can guess.
I shan't take up much of your time. But if I could just talk to you.
All right, we'll go inside.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Sit down.
I'll stand, sir. Could you possibly give me the pistols, Mr. Dollar?
No.
But why not, sir?
Well, the main reason is I don't have them. Bride didn't seem to want them when I tried to give them to him.
Oh, but he did, sir. If he'd balked at putting his signature on the form which described them, it would have become an admission that he had received them.
What's he afraid of?
I couldn't say, sir. He told me that he wouldn't be able to answer for the consequences if I failed to bring them back.
What does that mean?
Mr. Bride is a very violent and sudden man.
Look, I'm through with the case. I turned the guns back to the company that insured them, and he can get them by going down there and signing that release.
I beg of you, sir, get them tomorrow morning and give them to me.
I can't.
Possibly because they aren't there.
It felt like a beefsteak. Then I got a look at the vial in his hand and the needle. His expressionless face watching me became diffused and was streaked with flashes of red. I tried to reach for the face, but it swirled away and out of sight. I took one stumbling step after it. That was the best I could do.
We will return you to the second act of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in just a moment. But first, we Americans have a valuable heritage. A heritage of individual freedom that includes the freedom to worship as we wish at the church or synagogue of our own choice. By attending church regularly, we can gain the moral and spiritual strength to meet the many problems which confront us today. Help support your church and attend regularly with your family. Now, with our star, Edmund O'Brien, we return you to the second act of yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Come on now, laddie. Open your eyes. You can do it now. You can do it. Yeah, you feel that? You can feel that all right, can't you? Come on now. You're all better now, aren't you? Now, hold on now. Don't slip away again. Wake up. There, that's better. I'm Mr. Bonnie, remember me? Darling, none of that. You're all right. I'll put you on your bed. You're in your flat.
Where'd you come from?
Oh, it's a good thing I came from somewhere. I've been playing touch and go with you since 6 o'clock. First you'd come to, and then you'd go again.
Which time? What time is it?
Past 9. Yeah, you drink some of this. I looked for some tea, but I couldn't find any. I'm not too handy at making coffee. Is that hot enough?
Yeah.
Oh, now, what happened to you?
I don't know. Dope. He jabbed me in the arm.
Who was he? Bride?
Oh, come on, leave me alone, will you?
Oh, no, you don't. I've had enough of this. You stay awake. Come on now.
That treatment went on for another 45 minutes. That and the coffee. From the bed, I could see that my apartment had been torn to pieces. I was too sick to be angry about it. And when I could sit up and put my feet on the floor, I realized without surprise that Bonnie's arm was no longer in a sling. In fact, there was a Webley automatic in his hand.
Oh, that. Well, the surgeon said I wouldn't need the sling anymore.
Oh, you are a lying...
Now, stand up now. Come on. Did he get those pistols?
Who?
Bride. Whoever it was tore up your flat looking for them.
No, he didn't get them. And you aren't going to get them either.
Oh, yeah, now, you got an head on your shoulders. You use it. Where are they?
You'll have to do more than wave that automatic around to get them. They're in a vault downtown.
What do you want? A share for yourself?
Look, it was your idea to insure those things. Bride wouldn't receive them, and the company wants to protect them until he does. You must have known that. Why did you insure them?
Well, it was Worthing's plan. I told him it was too tricky. We're in a fine mess now. I've got to take you to him.
Why? I can't do anything.
Don't you ask so many questions. You just come along.
He gun-muzzled me out of my apartment and into a car. If I'd been in better shape, I might have been able to break away from him. But with my system still full of dope, I didn't have either the will or the energy for a try. I only half remember the trip, but the end of it was a shabby hotel within earshot of the harbor in Boston.
It's Bonnie. I brought Mr. Dollar.
Capital, Bonnie. Capital. Come in. Hey, you're white as a ghost, Mr. Dollar. Are you ill?
Yeah, and you don't help.
They put a needle into him trying to get the pistol.
Oh, what a pity. What a pity. Sit down, sir. Sit down, please, by all means. Did they get him?
Well, he says no, and if he's telling the truth, we're in a mess.
In a mess, Bonnie?
He says the pistols are locked up at the insurance company in Hartford.
Well, now, is that the truth?
I don't see why that should be hard to believe.
Now, what do you say to that? I told you it wouldn't work. You and your complicated plans. Now we've lost the whole thing.
Nonsense, Bonnie, nonsense. Why, actually, the pistols are of no consequence whatsoever.
Well, they were important right enough in London when we talked about coming here with them.
Of course they were, Bonnie, but now they've served their purpose. The brides have seen them. You have spoken to them on the phone. It only remains for you to collect the money. The end of the past, Bonnie.
Well, I think we need them.
Well, Mr. Dollar, it suddenly occurs to me that I have spilled the beans, as you Yanks so quaintly put it. I've told you the truth.
I don't want to know the truth.
Why don't you keep quiet, Worthing?
That's a good idea. Until I get out of here anyway.
Bonnie, stop him.
Look, I have no place in this. Just leave me alone.
Bonnie, stop him, or everything is lost.
All right, me bucko, come on back.
Gotta get away from me.
Come on, Mark. You don't feel so good, and I hate to make you feel... Whoa! There. That's right now. Back in the chair.
What do you want? You want me to know what's going on? I do. Blackmail.
Yes, of the grossest sort, sir. We shall be handsomely paid by the brides to keep secret a 2-year-old murder of which they are guilty.
I don't care.
Why don't you keep quiet, Worthing?
Well, Mr. Dollar?
If you expect me to be surprised, I'll have to disappoint you. What else could it be? But why were you stupid enough to think that he'd sign that release?
Yes, I shall have to admit that my sights were too high. But a signed admission... It was such a devilishly clever scheme, I was forced to have a try at it.
And why keep me involved in it?
Because you are a witness, so to speak. Now, be patient, sir.
After being dragged into the lives of people I don't know and don't want to know, after being drugged and knocked around by your gunmen?
Enough of that. And now, Bonnie, the hour to strike has come. I will meet the brides. Here. Oh, by the way, let me have your Webley.
Well, what about me?
You, at the same time, will be at the bride residence waiting for them to return and make the initial payment of our $20,000. The contest is won, Bonnie.
I hope you're right, Worthing. It's been a long one.
Yes, it has. A splendid quest.
He made a phone call to the brides, and Bonnie left. Worthing concentrated on the Webley automatic while we waited, and I concentrated on my head. By the time the brides arrived an hour later, I was almost able to stand without staggering.
Well. Mr. and Mrs. Bride, late of Norwich. Our paths at last cross. Please come in. I am Arthur Worthing. You don't know me, but I assure you that you will. Oh, you remember Mr. Dollar?
Yes.
We should hardly forget him.
Yeah, you're not alone there.
I'm afraid I have most distressing news for you, Mr. and Mrs. Bride. I shall be unable to make deliveries since Mr. Dollar has gained possession of the pistols and steadfastly refuses to part with them. He is a veritable thorn in my side.
Do you expect sympathy from us, Mr. Worthing?
Well, indeed, I expect nothing of the sort. No more than your uncle, the Duke of Pembroke, would have expected from you had he known your true thoughts before you had him murdered.
Are you lecturing, Worthing? You're planning to profit from the same death.
Yes, quite a profitable death to everyone but the poor Duke. The estate fortune to the brides and to the others of us who nibble at the edges, a small share. Even you, Mr. Dollar, earned a penny or two.
Cut this short, will you? It's a little too thick for me.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Bride, you both understand the terms that Leonard Barney and I have decided upon. We, in turn, agree to maintain complete silence in regard to your part in the murder, of the Duke of Pembroke between 6 and 7 p.m., 8 October 1948, at which time, according to knowledge shared by us, a killer hired by yourselves did shoot said Duke to death.
How can we be sure if, as you tell us, Dollar refuses to give up the pistols?
Mr. Dollar?
Leave me out of this.
An unfortunate situation, but one of minor importance. The theft of the pistols has become, according to your plans, the generally accepted motive for the murder, in view of their extreme value, and since they did indeed disappear. But who? Who would correlate them to the true story?
Oh, Jack, we could never be sure.
Quiet, Estelle.
My word will be kept. But Bonnie, I readily admit I do not know. The proof of your guilt lies with him, and he may decide that he needs more money one day. But the negotiation's at hand. The cost to you, $20,000. $5,000 to be paid tonight to Bonnie, who now awaits you at your residence. The rest within the next 7 days.
Oh, I don't see how it's going to be possible.
Oh, come now. Surely, rather than sacrifice the gracious life the Duke's fortune is affording you...
I don't know. The time is so short.
We'll manage it still. There must be a way. We have the $5,000.
Bonnie will be waiting for you.
Now Mr. Dollar has heard the story. What good is buying your silence when first he knows and then someone else knows and someone else... I can't...
Still! In heaven's name, Bride, do you want the police to descend upon us? Then we all would be lost. All but Leonard Bonnie.
I'm going to the police. I want them to know.
Stop it, Estelle.
Take her now and go meet Bonnie.
Come along, Estelle. We'll go home.
Convince her, Bride, that there is no reason to fear Dollar's knowledge. I have my own plans for him.
Worthing's success made him careless. Calling his orders to the brides, he was a quarter turn away from me. As soon as the door closed, I moved. As far as I was concerned, it was a toss-up between being a good citizen and phoning the police or using my head and leaving. I decided on a compromise, an anonymous report. I leaned over him to double-check his name and started through his pockets. His inside coat pocket gave me a week-old receipt for the weapons with which he dressed up his phony gun shop. His wallet held some money, but no identification. I patted aside coat pockets. They were cluttered with the usual men's debris and nothing else. But I patted the empty pockets again, and down at the bottom of the right one, I felt a thin, rectangular object. It was inside the coat lining. I got my fingers into the seam and ripped. The object was a card set into a plate of transparent plastic. It said, Arthur T. Worthing, Inspector, C.I.D., Scotland Yard. Oh, the devil. Hey, Inspector Worthing.
I say that was rather...
Here, try some of this.
Thank you. Well, I must say that you're an extraordinary ally, Mr. Dollar.
It would help, you know, if your allies knew they were allies instead of pigeons. Do you want to try and get up?
Not yet, I think. A vicious pummeling. But more about that later. Suffice it to say that I've been posing as a blackmailer for so long that I scarcely know what I am myself. I couldn't shed my disguise in front of you until the final details were arranged.
What is this approach of yours?
Approach, sir?
This crazy scheme. Here, come on, take my hand.
Oh, thank you. Not crazy, sir. Intricate, perhaps, but I did obtain a confession, didn't I? With you as a witness. During the investigation in England, no effort was enough to swerve the brides from their story of their murder. I had to turn criminal to meet them on a common level and gain the truth.
And did you have in mind stopping the brides before they commit another murder or after?
That's an odd question, sir.
Oh, no, not since this is making sense. Not since you baited Bride with the idea that Bonnie was the only one that could prove them guilty of murder.
Impeccable truth, Mr. Dollar, since it was Bonnie they hired to commit their crime. If the brides were apprehended at the scene immediately after they had murdered that miserable little cutthroat Leonard Bonnie, well, then, they'd be hard-pressed to find a valid reason for not confessing to the original murder of the Duke, would they not now?
I think you softened the wife up to the point where she'd spill.
Yes, by Jove, I believe you've hit the nail squarely on the head. We'll phone the police to go there.
I think you hit the same nail on the head when you palled up with Bonnie and talked him into coming over here with blackmail in mind.
Yes, you're right. This has been a personal matter. The Duke of Pembroke was my friend. As I said, nothing could be done in England, so here I am. Unofficially, of course. I suggest now that I phone the police, don't you?
Here you are, driver. Keep it.
Thank you, sir. And good night, you.
Good night, young man. Well, no sign of the police, Dollar.
They'll arrive quietly. We'd better get up to the house. We dropped our cab a few yards down from the Bride address. When we got there, we took the driveway. There was a light in a room I'd spotted the last time I was there, a library. We angled off toward it, but before we reached it, a look I tossed over my shoulder stopped me. Behind us in the street, I could see a swarm of uniformed figures slipping silently toward us. They were close, but not close enough.
Now, boys, don't do it. Look, I'll figure it out. I'll go back to England. You'll never be bothered by me.
Talbot, take 3 men and cover the rear.
All right, come on, you guys. Let's go this way.
The inspector got what he wanted, the murder of the gunman Bonnie and the arrest of the brides. Justice is supposed to move in straight, formal lines. When that kind misfires, I guess it's cricket to go devious. He brought a victim as well as a motive clear across the Atlantic to set up the playoff scene. Expense account item 5, same as number 2, transportation back to Hartford. Item 6, miscellaneous. You'll have to admit I deserve something for what I went through. $150. Expense account total, $365.35. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, stars Edmund O'Brien in the title role and is written by Gil Dowd with music by Wilbur Hatch. Edmund O'Brien can soon be seen in the Paramount Pictures production Warpath. Featured in tonight's cast were Ben Wright, Bill Conrad, Dick Ryan, Jeanette Nolan, Dan O'Herlihy, and Tyler McVeigh. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, is transcribed in Hollywood by Jaime Del Valle. This is Bob Lamond inviting you to join us next week at this time when we will again bring you Edmund O'Brien as...
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Every Saturday night, Americans from coast to coast play Sing It Again. Do you? Well, if you don't know the fun and excitement you're missing. Not to mention radio's largest cash award if you can name the Phantom Voice. There's music on Sing It Again. Music with Alan Vale, Bob Howard, Judy Lynn, the Riddlers, Ray Block and his orchestra. There are contestants from all over America, phoned by Dan Seymour. And there are prizes. Prizes galore, plus that special jackpot prize we mentioned earlier. So stay at home. Play at home on Saturday nights when over many of these same CBS stations, Dan Seymour says it's Sing It Again. Stay tuned now for Von Monroe's Caravan, which follows immediately on most of these same CBS stations. If you met a stranger on the street who offered to give you $4 for 3, you'd be pretty skeptical. But when Uncle Sam makes the same offer, you can take him up on it and be sure you're getting a square deal. By investing your money in United States savings bonds, you'll get that extra dollar profit when the bonds mature. Buy your bonds through the payroll savings plan where you work or the bond-a-month plan where you bank. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Time now.
From Hollywood, it's time now for Edmund O'Brien as...
Johnny Dollar.
You're the man who was sent here by the bonding company, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. Who's this?
My name is Shade, Pat Shade. I'm a private detective working on the case for the bank.
Fine. I didn't know they'd hired one, too.
They call me every once in a while, tracing phonies mostly.
Is there any chance that you know the missing messenger?
Yeah, I know, Lillis. I had him tagged as a clean, honest kid. I still have.
What do you think happened then?
I'm afraid he was either snatched or killed, or both. But that's just my opinion. I wondered if you'd like to get together and compare notes.
I don't have any notes yet, but I'll be glad to pick up your brain.
Pick up your what?
I don't have any notes yet, but I'll be glad to pick your brain. Any place you say.
Edmund O'Brien, in another adventure of the man with the action-packed expense account. America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
While we're stopped,
Let's go back.
Let's take the whole opening again. And Bob, I have just a little too much voice.
Oh, Jesus.
You mean I'm screaming?
From Hollywood.
From Hollywood, it's time now for Edmund O'Brien as
Johnny Dollar?
You're the man who was sent here by the bonding company, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. Who's this?
My name is Shade, Pat Shade. I'm a private detective working on the case for the bank.
Fine. I didn't know they'd hired one, too.
They call me every once in a while, tracing phonies mostly.
Is there any chance that you know the missing messenger?
Yeah, I know, Lillis. I had him tagged as a clean, honest kid, and I still have.
What do you think happened then?
I'm afraid he was either snatched or killed, or both. But that's just my opinion. I wondered if you'd like to get together and compare notes.
I don't have any notes yet, but I'll be glad to pick your brain. Any place you say.
Edmund O'Brien, in another adventure of the man with the action-packed expense account. America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Home Office, Great Northern Bonding and Surety Company, Hartford, Connecticut. The following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the Lillis bond matter. Expense account item 160. Expense account item 1, $62.80 airfare and incidentals between Hartford and Chicago. A few phone calls after checking into a hotel bore out the details given me when I was assigned the case. Henry Lillis, the messenger, had left the Golden State Bank at 10:30 a.m. He was carrying $80,000 in cash, and his destination was only a few blocks north on LaSalle Street. He never arrived there. At 5 that evening, in a bar near my hotel, I met the private detective working the case for the bank. Pat Shade was a puffy, florid man with past 50 beginning to show in his watery blue eyes.
I've been in the business for a long time. More years than I like to think. Left the police force and opened my own office in 1931, when Chicago was still the rawest town in the country.
Not exactly overdone right now, is it?
Quieted down a lot. Just as well for me. I'm too old for the rough work I used to do, and I'm getting older. I'll end up holding a sign at a school crossing one of these years. You younger fellas ought to think about it. Ought to get out of the business before it's too late. There's no future in it.
I've heard that said before, but never by anybody who left it for something better.
I wish I'd stayed on the force. I'd be on pension now. You know, Scotty Dyer's old man and I walked a beat together. Scotty's a good cop. What'd he tell you?
Nothing, really. I just phoned to check in with him, and he gave me a free hand. Tell me about this Henry Lillis.
Nothing much to tell. Bright kid, a couple of years out of high school. His father's dead, and he's got a mother to help support.
You think you know him well enough to be sure of the honesty you mentioned on the phone?
Sure? No. I'm not sure of anything anymore. Anything or anybody. But there's nothing in his background to tell you anything else. He had to have a pretty good record to be bonded by this company, you know that.
That's why you think somebody grabbed him, huh?
It's my hunch, yeah, I think so. Do you know anything different?
No, but it strikes me that a snatch would be pretty hard to carry off in a street as busy as LaSalle at 10:30 in the morning without drawing some attention. Sergeant Dyer tells me none of the people who were near there at the time saw any trouble.
It would depend on how it was done. Now, understand, this is only my hunch. I don't have the case solved yet.
Has anybody talked to his mother, do you know?
I think the cops went out this morning.
I guess it'll be all right for me to go out this evening.
Worrying about his son, she's probably not going to be in very good shape.
Maybe not. But sometimes people who are in bad shape drop a lot of information they wouldn't drop otherwise. Shall we have another round? The Lillis house was a small one in a respectable but not plushy neighborhood. It had been painted recently, and its yard was well tended. I noted these things because they made it appear that, except for widowhood, Mrs. Lillis and her son were a comfortable and average American family. She was an attractive woman of some 40 years who, obviously and with good cause, had been crying.
Please sit down, Mr. Dollar.
Thank you.
The police have already been here. I suppose you know that.
Yes, I knew they'd come.
They didn't say it in so many words, but after they left, I realized they suspect that my son is responsible for this crime, don't they?
They aren't sure of anything yet, Mrs. Lillis.
It's terribly difficult, as a mother, to be fair and honest. If Henry did this thing himself, then at least he may be safe and unharmed, and he may come back and take his punishment. Do you understand?
Of course I do.
Naturally, my first instinct was to defend him against the suspicion. I couldn't believe it was possible that my son was a thief. But then I realized if someone else was responsible, then Henry had been kidnapped and would be in serious danger. So now, Mr. Dollar, I'm praying that my son is guilty. And if he is, I'll do everything I can to see him brought to justice.
I know it's a bad situation for you, but I'll make my part of it as easy as I can. Did your son say or do anything that would have indicated he was planning anything like this? Was he in trouble, or was there anything he wanted to get away from?
No, nothing that I noticed. Henry was forced into manhood quite early. He's been without a father since he was 9. He became quite independent, and he shared very little of his outside life with me. He may have wanted to get away from me, however.
You mean that he didn't like his responsibility?
Yes, he wants me to marry again.
I understood that he wasn't your sole support.
No, my husband left me a small income from his insurance. I own this house, but Henry's earnings have always helped.
Who are his friends, Mrs. Lillis? I may want to talk to them.
He sees hardly any of the friends he made in school. Most of them went on to college. There's one I know of, Raymond Lockhart. He works in a service station on North Michigan Avenue.
And you don't know who your son spent the rest of his time with?
I'm afraid I don't. Oh, I was very wise. I wasn't going to make the same mistake so many widows do with their sons, with possessiveness and too much prying in the name of protection. I let Henry work out his own life and asked very few questions. I was so wise. If Henry is guilty, I'm to blame for it. And he must be guilty and not dead.
Thanks, Mr. Sprague. Come in again, huh? Oh, I'm sorry. You caught me on a busy night. I read about this thing with Hank Lillis in tonight's paper. First I heard about it. You think he did it?
It's one possibility, Raymond. As a matter of fact, I looked you up to ask you the same question.
You mean, do I think he did it? Well, if it turns out that way, it'll sure be a surprise to me. The paper said they were looking into the idea that somebody could have forced him into a car.
Yeah, every angle is being covered.
Yeah, I've known Hank for a pretty long time. And I trust him with my paycheck any day in the week. As far as I know, the only trouble he ever got into was kind of his temper. Got him into a few brawls.
When did you see him last?
Oh, gosh, I don't remember. You see, we used to get out in the town together once every 2 weeks or so, but we haven't for a couple of months. He won't admit it, but I think that he's pretty thick with this girl he's going with.
Oh? I didn't know about that.
Yeah. They stopped in here one night to gas up. It's her car. She's pretty all right. Blonde, but I don't know. She kind of struck me as a dish that's been around quite a bit, if you know what I mean. Sometimes you can tell the way they kind of look at you, you know?
What's her name, do you know?
Well, the more I think of it, if Hank is in trouble, I'll lay you 10 to 1 it is this blonde. What the devil was her name? I talked to him about it. Lily or Lillian, I think. Oh, what was her name?
His mother doesn't know about her, I take it. She didn't mention any girl.
No, this one is not the type to take home to Mother. He said he met her at the bank somewhere.
I can check that then.
Yeah. Be right with you. Right with you. If her father is some kind of a guard there or something.
Guard? A private detective by any chance? Was her last name Shade?
Shade, that's it. Lillian Shade. How could I forget a name like that?
Go ahead. Pour yourself another drink, Shade. I've got an extra bottle in my luggage.
Yeah. Did you tell the police about this?
Not yet.
This will be the end for me if she's mixed up in it.
You know where she is?
Yeah, she told me she was going to spend a couple of days with a friend.
Why don't you check the friend? Maybe your daughter is there.
She didn't mention any names. She never does. She's no good. She's like her mother was. You mind?
Go ahead. Where is her mother?
She ran off with some guy. Lillian was about 5. I shipped her off to my sister in Minneapolis, but I had to take her back when my sister died. She started running wild when she was 13, and I never could stop her.
If they pull this together, it's liable to set child psychology back 20 years. The son of a mother who really tried to do the right thing, maybe tried too hard. And the daughter of a guy who didn't try at all. Did you make a point of not mentioning her when we were talking about the Lillis kid earlier?
I was waiting for you to ask that. I didn't know there was anything between them. She met him when she dropped in at the bank one morning. I guess I knew they met like that a few more times, but the rest of it I didn't know anything about.
Did she have a job?
She hasn't worked for a few months. When she does work, it's in some cheap bar, so that's worse.
Was it your car she drove?
No, it was hers.
You know the license number?
No, but that won't be hard to learn.
You're sure it was registered in her name, then?
Well, I never noticed the slip. I supposed it was. She said some friend bet some races for her, and she got it with the money she won. I can't see any reason why it wouldn't be in her name.
Yeah.
Dollar.
Huh?
It was damn decent of you to talk to me instead of going to the police.
Instead? I hope you aren't going to ask me not to give this to the police.
Oh, no, of course not. But I was going to ask you to let me tell them. It's going to look mighty bad for me if you go in, with Scotty Dyer in charge of the case and his old man and I on the force together in the old days. I don't want it to look like I was holding back information from him.
Were you?
No, but I won't be able to prove it to you until we find Lillian. She'll tell you I didn't know anything about her and Henry.
All right, Shade. You going in tonight?
Just as soon as I leave here. And you don't have to do this, but I'd appreciate it if you could forget your calling me down here. It would be better for me if they didn't know you had to tell me about Lillian.
All I'm interested in is getting the money back. Doesn't make any difference what I say or don't say. You go to the police tonight, and we'll play it as it comes after that. Johnny Dollar.
This is Sergeant Dyer, Dollar.
Oh, yeah, Sergeant. You're on it early this morning. Anything doing?
Henry Lillis just gave himself up.
When? This morning?
Yep. Hitchhiked in from someplace up the lake. Something about a fight with one of the men in the deal. He's messed up some.
What about the money?
They need some medical work before we can get a decent statement from him. Shock, mostly. I put him in the hospital.
Didn't he say anything?
And he kept mumbling something about somebody with a name like Saunders. Go on down. We'll talk to him as soon as we can. I think he'll be ready to tell his part of the story anyway.
I met Sergeant Dyer at 10 that morning. It was after some 15 minutes of conversation had passed by without mention of Pat Shade that I learned he hadn't reported the night before. I brought up the subject myself, and Dyer knew him well enough to automatically reach for the phone and call the bar at my hotel. Shade had stayed there until it closed. 3 more calls to his office, his home, and the bank failed to raise him. But right then, it didn't seem too important to the case, since Henry Lillis was in custody. We got in to see him at 11:30. He was a slight, fair-haired kid, by this time past the feeling of fear. His face was pale and blotched with the disinfectant the doctor had put on some scratches and bruises.
Feel strong enough to talk now, Lillis?
I guess so.
This man is from the company that bonded you.
You don't look like you had much fun out of that 80 grand, Lillis.
No, I didn't.
Where is the money?
I don't know where it is now, but we took it to a house above Lake Bluff.
Who is we?
I don't care who it hurts now. Lillian Shade.
She was with you then?
She was with me or I was with her. I don't suppose it makes any difference. We were together.
You mentioned hurting somebody. Did you mean her father?
Yeah. He talked to me about her once. He told me she wasn't any good for me. I hated him then for saying that about his own daughter, but I sure wish I'd listened to him. I wish I'd believed him. None of this would have happened if I had.
It did happen, Lillis. We want to know about it. Everything about it.
Well, I don't know exactly how it started. I met her and I was stupid. I'd never known anybody like her before, and it sort of seemed as if we were in the same boat.
What do you mean, the same boat?
Well, we'd neither one of us had all the things we wanted, and it looked like we never would.
If everybody in that boat turned criminal, there wouldn't be enough banks to go around.
I never thought about it before, the way she did, but the longer I went with her, the more I began to. She'd done other things, never anything like this.
What kind of thing?
Well, the way she got the money for her car. She met this man and learned some things from him. She did it so that it could never be called blackmail, and she got the money.
The Badger game, maybe.
I don't think I know quite what that is.
Go on.
Well, I don't think I have to go through all of it, but, well, one night she kept talking about how I carried large amounts of money all the time, and that we didn't have... I don't think I have to go through all of it. But, well, one night she kept talking about how I carried large amounts of money all the time, and that we didn't have any of our own. She said she wouldn't marry me unless we could be rich. So we planned this thing. She waited down the street in her car 4 days in a row until I knew she was... She waited down the street in her car 4 days in a row until I knew I was making a big transfer.
You knew how much you were carrying?
Not exactly, but... Well, I'd worked there long enough to know when it was a big amount, according to where it was going and things like that. So yesterday morning I got into the car, and by the time I was due back at the bank, we were out of town.
This house near Lake Bluff where you went, who's it belong to?
Well, she said a friend who was on a trip someplace. She had a key. I think it belonged to this Sanders or Saunders or whatever it is.
How'd he fit in?
Well, I didn't know anything about him until he showed up late last night. Then I found out that Lillian didn't have any idea of going away with me like she'd said. From the beginning, she knew she wasn't. She was just using me, and this man, she called him Red, he told me to get out.
How much money was your share?
None of it. Not any of it. But I didn't even care about that. But Lillian had used me. When this Red told me, I went crazy, I guess. There was a fight. That I barely remember. I left the house, but I don't know where I went. And when it got light, I found the highway and started hitchhiking. Nobody picked me up because I was all bloody and my clothes were torn. And finally, this man did. He was a minister.
We left him after he gave us the best he could in the way of a description. The only thing Lilith seemed sure of was the route to the house near Lake Bluff. The three-state alarm was put out on Lillian Shade and the red-headed man in a green club coupe. In less than an hour, the sergeant and I had made our 20-mile trip and were approaching the place on a dirt driveway that stretched some 50 yards to the road.
Hey, hold it. It might not be as empty as it looks. A car on the east side.
I think that might be the girls. Service station attendant described it for me. Means they both left in one car, don't you think?
Well, probably does. Guess with 80,000, one abandoned car wouldn't mean much. I think the house is empty, all right. Wouldn't make sense for it not to be. No. Well, isn't locked.
Look, through here. Look at the furniture. That's where the fight went on.
It must have been quite a ruckus.
A friend of his told me Lillis packed quite a punch when he got started. Pretty good temper. Yeah, there by the wall. That lamp was thrown. It ought to carry some prints.
And we'll look through the rest of it. And I doubt if we'll ever find...
Sergeant Dyer, over here in the kitchen. It's Lillian Shade. She's dead. And so homicide entered the picture and a new alarm was broadcast. Sanders or Saunders in a green club coupe. Wanted on suspicion of grand theft and murder. I had a different idea. I couldn't sell it to Sergeant Dyer, but it was one... I couldn't sell it to Sergeant Dyer, but it was one of those things that I couldn't drop. The police laboratory men started combing through the house, and I went back into the city. It was about 2 p.m, and Pat Shade was in his office.
Now, I can explain if you let me.
Never mind that. You know that Henry Lillis surrendered to the police, don't you?
I didn't handle myself very well last night.
I'm not talking about last night.
I know. What I'm trying to tell you is that I didn't get around until late today, and I just read about it. Where is Lillian?
You know the house she goes to up near Lake Bluff?
No, I never heard her say anything about a house up there. Is that where you found her?
You were pretty drunk last night. Where'd you go?
Yes, I was pretty drunk last night. It's not every day you come to the end of your rope. That's where I got last night after more than 20 years in this filthy business.
Where did you go after you left the hotel bar?
I went home.
What time did you go to bed?
I don't remember.
Do you remember leaving again after you got home?
Where'd I go?
Your daughter was murdered last night.
But... what are you accusing me of, young man?
I'm not accusing you of anything.
I wish I could talk about this later. I don't seem to be thinking very well.
I'm afraid we have to talk about it, Pat.
Yeah. You asked me if I knew about a house near Lake Bluff because you think I might have killed my daughter. That I might have waited until the red-headed man left for some reason and that I went in.
How'd you know about the red-headed man?
Henry Lillis' statement. Part of it was in the paper. Do you think I killed Lillian?
I know that last night you hated your daughter.
Yes, I did. I have nothing to lie for anymore, so I can be truthful. If I had struck Lillian last night, I wouldn't remember. It may be quite possible that I killed her. I don't remember.
I understand you found Pat Shea, Dollar. What do you have to say? Well, I'm not sure what he said because I don't know if his mind was working well or badly.
Here, this is the on-the-spot report from the lab men. There's more you can see before we start back.
Thanks. This is almost enough, isn't it?
Wait till you see the rest of it. You have a tough time squeezing out now. Well, shall we go? I hope you don't mind us busting in like this.
Hello, Lillis.
Hello.
We wondered if you could help us on a few details we're confused on.
All right.
Are you sure that the only cars that came up to Lake Bluff were Lillian Shades and this Saunders?
The only ones I knew about. Were there more?
That's what's confusing us. Now, this fight, it was in the front room and not in the kitchen, is that right?
Well, it's hard to remember, I think so.
And after And after that, you left, and then you caught a ride into town and gave yourself up.
Yeah.
Why'd you give yourself up, Lillis?
I don't know why. It just seemed like the only thing I could do.
Because maybe you thought if you gave yourself up on a grand theft charge and told a sad story that we'd never think of you in regard to murder.
Murder?
That's a dirt driveway, Lillis. The only car that drove up that driveway was Lillian Shades.
Looks like there wasn't any red-headed man there at all, doesn't it?
Like you messed up that room to make it look like there'd been a fight.
Fingerprint men aren't through.
All right! I didn't mean to kill her. We got out there and we had the money and she got scared. We looked at all of it and she went to pieces. She wanted to take it back and I knew we couldn't. I lost my temper and hit her because I was excited. I thought she was faking, but she wasn't. She wasn't faking. I didn't mean to.
We can go, can't we, Sergeant?
Yeah. I'll come back later for a statement.
Expense account item 2, $183.30, miscellaneous. Item 3, same as item 1, transportation back to Hartford. Expense account total, $308.90. Remarks? In his next statement, Henry Lillis revealed the hiding place where he'd put the stolen money, so the company won't lose. That's more than you can say for the two parents involved, either the deserving or the undeserving. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, stars Edmund O'Brien in the title role and is written by Gil Dowd with music by Wilbur Hatch. Edmund O'Brien can soon be seen in the Paramount Pictures production Warpath. Featured in tonight's cast were Herb Butterfield, Jeanette Nolan, Tony Barrett, Tim Graham, and Gil Stratton, Jr. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, was transcribed in Hollywood by Jaime Del Valle. This is Bob Lamond inviting you to join us next week at this time when Edmund O'Brien returns as
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
I'm not kidding. 20, they were falling down. Light.
This is only a... Maybe I didn't do it. This is only a 15-minute show. I can do it.
And you don't know who your son spent the rest of his time with?
I'm afraid I don't. I let Henry work out his own life and tried to ask very few questions. I thought I was so wise. Now, if Henry is guilty, I'm to blame for it. And he must be guilty. And not dead.
When did you see him last?
Gosh, I don't remember. See, we used to get out in the town together every 2 weeks or so, but not since he's been going with it.
When did you see him last?
Gosh, I don't remember. We used to get out on the town together every 2 weeks or so, but not since he's been going with his new girl.
Oh, I didn't know about her.
Yeah, she's pretty, all right, a blonde, but she kind of struck me as a dish that's been around quite a bit, if you know what I mean.
What's her name, do you know?
What the devil was it? Lily or Lillian, I think.
His mother doesn't know about her, I take it. She didn't mention any girl.
Well, she's not the type to take home to Mother. Her father's some kind of a guard at the bank.
Guard? Private detective by any chance? Was her last name Shade?
Shade, that's it. Lillian Shade. How could I forget a name like that?
Go ahead. Where is her mother?
She ran off with some guy. Lillian was about 5. I shipped her off to my sister in Minneapolis, but I had to take her back when my sister died. She started running wild when she was 13, and I never could stop her.
Did you make a point of not mentioning her when we were talking about the Lillis kid earlier? I met Sergeant Dyer at 10 that morning, and it was after some 15 minutes of conversation had passed by without mention of Pat Shade that I learned he hadn't reported the night before. But right then, it didn't seem too important to the case, since Henry Lillis was in custody. We got in to see him at 11:30. He was a slight, fair-haired kid, by this time past the feeling of fear. His face was pale and blotched with the disinfectant the doctor had put on some scratches and bruises.